should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future, trying to forget about the past. So many ways that I could change for the better. Don't even
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, is for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hey y'all, it is Friday. It is Friday. Thank you so much for being here. I want to shout y'all out real quick before I give you guys a recap, kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on. Somebody came in named Alyssa in the very beginning, and I love how the bubbles are by her name. She's just absolutely adorable. I mean, just judging by her name, I feel like if I saw her in person, she would just be like just adorable. Anyways, she said that she she said she went to school with Megan, definitely a troubled girl. We were friends in middle school, but went separate ways in high school. I know who Evelyn's actual dad is. It's so sad and sickening. And I wanted to remind you, kind of that this case, as most cases, is a very real case involving very real people. It was very sad what happened to Evelyn Boswell. And we do have a little bit of a recap to watch. That hopefully I can get in before we start the actual sentencing. So I'm going to attempt to shout you guys out real quick. And I've got my court TV. Okay, that's somebody else. Sorry, I saw that somebody was live with it, but it's somebody else covering it. I got my court TV thing up. Hey, Crystal Burns, Jenny Jen, Leslie Atkins. It's so nice to see y'all. Misty Graham, Cracker Measles, Cindy from sunny South Florida, Peaches McClure and Banana Bottom, Kimmy Doodles, and Kate K. It's so good to see you. Miss King of Anything, Cara, my love, Lola's mom. Good to see you. Hannah UK, Ruby. It's so great to see you. Bethina, Karen. Connie's sister, it's good to see you. Roberta K, it's great to see you. Heel Sandra, Willow's True Crime, it's good to see you. My title is awesome and you're laughing. What did I do? Oh, yeah, I think it's not accurate. I think I need to fix it. Ashton Lee, good to see you. Kim VZ, good to see you. Tanya and the D, good to see you. Ashton Lee, James and Jada, it's good to see you. Complicated, good to see you. Shelby, good to see you. I'm gonna come back to your thing. Hio. Complicated said first time on your channel. I live here in Sullivan County where she is being prosecuted. Thank you for that. But thank you for being here, and I'm glad it's nice to meet you. Hey, Mama Mia and Teresa. Hio Sandra has been a member for 10 months. We got a 1-month-old baby that was just born. You have to name the baby. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So, and I love your face. Hio Sandra said, I love your face. Thank you for all you have done for me. And thank you for all you have done for me because you helped me out quite a bit. Auburn Cat Mom, good to see you. I want to go back up to what this person said. They come in, they're probably gone. They're laughing and saying my title is great. So let's go real quick over here. I'm aware that Megan Boswell is not being sentenced for the homicide of Evelyn Boswell. So yeah, I probably need to change that because if you go look on my channel, I covered the entire trial. But it says right here, the baby Evelyn Myrtle trial, Tennessee versus Boswell sentencing. And like evidently that person that came in, I'm aware that she has already been sentenced to life because I mean, if you want to go there, let's jump over here because I've got this on my phone since you want to pick on me. Let's jump over here because I've got, hold on, right here in the description. It says, during the search for Evelyn, Megan gave multiple conflicting and false statements to investigators about her daughter's whereabouts. Conviction and sentencing. Following an 8-day trial, a jury found Boswell guilty on all 9 counts she faced, including first-degree homicide, aggravated child abuse and neglect, and multiple counts of false reporting. She was sentenced to life in prison. So in my description, I have it right there that she was sentenced to life in prison. I'm not slow, but I definitely should probably change my title. I get it. But if we go over here, that's what it says. So that's why I put that. And I figured I would change it once we got live. Just so you know. And then Complicated said that they live, I wanted to come back to what you said. You live in Sullivan County where she was being prosecuted. I couldn't imagine. That's got to be a hard case, or a hard place to live. It was a very hard case, and I'll never understand why she put Evelyn in the trash can like that and just walked away like she was nothing. These nuts. Thank you for being here, and thank you for becoming a member. I will grab the crazy train to pick you up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you so very much.
I'm going off the rails on a crazy train.
I really appreciate that. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. Thank you so much. Yes, baby Evelyn had been covered in aluminum foil. That was the trial of Evelyn Boswell for the homicide of baby Evelyn. Now, I did see a video that's going to tell us exactly what she's being sentenced for today. So we're going to jump back over here while we wait for Court TV to come live, because I do have it up on my phone. So we will check that out. Okay, let's go here. So Megan Boswell, convicted of the homicide of baby Evelyn, faces sentencing. So maybe I didn't get it wrong. Let's see.
Guilty. The judgment of this court, you are guilty. In count 2, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of first-degree murder and the perpetration of a felony. It's a judgment of this court, you are guilty.
Now for what's tipping the scales in the case of Megan Boswell. She is the Tennessee mom who reported her baby Evelyn, missing, only for the baby to be found dead inside a trash can. Today, Boswell finds out her sentence for the remaining 17 counts that she faces after being convicted back in February. Let's take a look at how we got here.
So it's for the other 17 counts, not the actual homicide. So I will fix that. Complicated said, this case to our town, which is small upside down, it's very sad to us and our community. This is also where Summer Wells went missing. It is very tragic. I'm so sorry. That's a lot to be plagued with in your area. It's a very sad situation. This was done by someone who is still very childlike in a lot of ways, and I don't think had any business having a baby. Summer Wells is a mystery the TBI can't even solve at this point, but I'm very sorry to hear that. She was young. I think she was 18 or 19 when she had Megan. I'm going to fix my title real quick.
Evelyn. Hi.
From early December of 2019 until later when her body was found, Evelyn was always in the same place. And Megan Boswell knew that. Megan Boswell knew that because she is the one that put Evelyn there. She placed Evelyn's body in a kitchen trash can.
Did she lie to the police? She absolutely lied to the police. Nothing says she's that. It doesn't mean she murdered her child. It doesn't mean she killed her child. What it means is that's her perception that she's going to get in trouble.
Let's get into the last time you saw her. Tell me what that time was like and when that was.
Well, actually, I want to talk about that. I told TBI where to find her in Mendota.
So I also just looked at it, and I don't know. I saw it better on my phone. I did say mean instead of Megan, so I don't know. But anyway, it's fixed. Holly, it's good to see you. This is it's a very sad case. It's a hard one to deal with. It was senseless, and she lied about it, and it ended up being basically that this guy that was a piece of shit that owned a place. He owned a business called the Chicken Shack, and he used it as his. Hold on a minute. I apologize. So there was a guy at, I kept the mean and put mean Megan Boswell, sentenced for 17 charges from the Evelyn Boswell trial. There was a guy that owned the Chicken Shack. He used it as his own hookup place. where he got girls, the girls that worked with him, he hooked up with, and he was messing with all of them. And basically, Megan became infatuated with this guy, and he didn't want to have nothing to do with her. It was basically, he was a hit it and quit it kind of guy. And so he told her that he didn't want to be with a girl that had a baby from another relationship. And her, being the dumbass that she is, went and just made it to where she didn't have another baby from another relationship. And it was very sad. Very sad what happened.
My mom took her to a campground in a silver camper, and if they don't go tonight, I'm going to go find her myself. Because I've told them, and they're not really like taking it seriously. And if they don't go tonight, like, I will go myself and go get her.
Tell them why they're not.
Don't get into that. Stop.
No, you need to defend yourself.
That's all they need to know. Quit.
They already know, Megan.
So, kind of go back into.
Sorry.
Okay, can you edit that?
I said, come high hell water. I said, I'm going to get on the phone. I said, I'm going to find my granddaughter. I said, I don't care what I got to do. I said, I want to know what's going on. I said, enough's enough.
You're telling me all these other stories that you told. All those before, those were lies. This is the truth. This is the God honest truth. Okay, that timeline, all the dates that you gave, all that stuff prior, all that stuff was made up. And you know, why do you want to come clean down? What benefit do you have?
I don't, but you talk to me. To be honest with you.
Is it for me or is it for your baby?
For my baby, but you're the one who were like, hey, like, it's been going on long enough, you know what I'm saying?
And it's time to turn into
The jury.
So she was questioned several times by the TBI, and kind of like Leilani Simon lied a couple of times, but they eventually found the baby. It was very heartbreaking. I didn't think she had another kid. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think she had another child. No. Okay, so when they made the request, or they filled out the paperwork to rent the apartment, they put it was just him and her and his child, I thought, a little boy, but I could be wrong, or that could be another case. I think Evelyn was her only child, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I thought it was only Evelyn, but I'm not sure. Yeah, she wore that stupid bow at sentencing to look more young and innocent and try not to get sentenced to life for her bullshit crimes. We're still waiting over here for them to come live, so I'm going to continue with this.
If your peers haven't found you guilty of first-degree murder and the perpetration of a felony, it's a judgment of this court. You are guilty.
So what can we expect today? Will we hear from Boswell? Here to discuss, criminal defense attorneys Joe Tamburino and David Bruno. Gentlemen, thanks so much for sticking around with us this morning. Now, to be clear, the sentencing today is not for the murder counts, but the other 17 counts that she was charged with. So why don't we talk about the goal for her defense at this point? Joe, I'm going to start.
So Anders said they found the baby in the landfill. They didn't find the baby in the landfill. They found the baby in the trash can of her playhouse at her daddy and grandmama's house. She was her only child. Okay. Yeah, she pretended to be pregnant with a boy, I think. Yeah, and I apologize about getting the title wrong. I'll be honest with y'all, I've had a lot on my mind lately, like a lot. There's big changes going on in my life with almost every aspect of it. So I took a walk and I was sitting on the railroad tracks when I did my thumbnail and title. So I apologize for having it wrong, but it's fixed now.
Start with you.
Well, I think the goal for her defense is their motion for a new trial. I think they're going to be denied that motion, and then they're going to bring it up on appeal. Another goal of the defense could be not to have these the 17 charges be consecutive on what she was already convicted of, which is the murder. So those are the two things I think the defense is going to be looking at, trying to see if they can win their motion for a new trial. I don't think that's going to happen, and then they'll do an appeal. And second, not to have a consecutive sentence.
David, do you think we will hear from Boswell at all?
You know, I think so, personally. This is a difficult case. I mean, more and more we're watching these cases of child abuse and these young victims. And I think certainly if she wants to kind of spare what she can, that would be something to do. the concurrent consecutive sentence on the life with parole is critical. Because right now, she would have to do 51 years because that's what the jury recommended with parole. And she would be eligible at least at 69. That's assuming everything goes concurrent. But if it's consecutive, then that will be stacked on top, on top, on top. And then it'd be basically securing her fate in prison with no chance of getting out.
Let's go ahead and play a little bit of what Megan had to say during her police interview. Let's play that.
Thank you guys for your kind words. Everything will be okay. I think too much about things, and thank you for praying for my peace, and thank you for your kind words. Y'all are very sweet. I really appreciate it.
We went to go out to eat, and then my mom came and got her. She was wearing a little hot pink tracksuit with a matching bow, little matching shoes. I was trying to protect my mom, maybe in hopes, oh, well, she'd just tell them where Evelyn was, but obviously she's not going to. She's very sweet. She loves everybody. She's never been mean ever, which I'm very thankful for. She's just a really good-hearted baby in general.
You believe you know who has her. What do you have to say to them?
Just bring her back. I just want her back. That's all I want.
And Joe, that was actually an interview that she did with a local television station there, but it did come out. We were there for this trial. It did come out, and they played that during the trial. We heard her there, and we've seen this time and time again throughout the years. Women come forward, men come forward, and they tell a story, and then they go to trial, and we find out that story was not exactly true.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, all you have to do is just rewind the tape, hit play.
All right. I think we're live over here now. I saw something just now. There we go. All right. Hey, Norma. Thank you.
72869. Long today for sentencing.
I think he knew too.
There was a pre-sentence report filed April the 4th, 2025. A jury convicted Ms. Boswell of first-degree murder in count 1, first-degree murder in perpetration of felony in counts 2 and 3. The jury sentenced her to life. The jury also convicted her in count 4 of aggravated child abuse, count 5 aggravated child neglect, count 6 tampering with evidence, count 7 through 17 false report, count 19 abuse of corpse, count 20 failure to report the death under suspicious, unusual, or unnatural circumstances.
Thank you.
So we're here on counts 4 through 20 for sentencing today. Is the state ready to proceed?
We are, Your Honor.
Can't ready to proceed.
Yes.
Because sentencing, the first thing is up, the state has
Judge, how are you going to handle the pre-sentence report that we made?
because of the nature of this case, it's going to be normally.
Let me know if y'all can hear it good. It was the boyfriend that the guy from the chicken shack that was in the mental hospital, I do believe. I could be wrong. This is from Tennessee. Hey, Ashley. She changed her story several times, and there is a playlist, Tanya and the D, on my page that there should be an Evelyn Boswell trial playlist that goes through the whole trial.
Don't make any exhibit. I think in this case.
Thank you.
Somebody have a copy of it? It's not been marked up. And if you don't, I've got it in the file. I just got to find it. Which file it's in.
I can't. So I can try it. Sometimes it won't let you when they're live. We're going to try. You're welcome. Since I paused it, I can.
Yes, Your Honor, the state will call Sheriff.
Okay.
General, the state having approved.
Yes, Your Honor, the state will call Sheriff Jeff Cassidy.
Raise your right hand, state your name, please.
Sheriff Jeff Cassidy.
Solemnly swear upon testimony about to give the truth, all truth, and nothing but the truth.
Tell the court your name and where you're employed.
Jeff Cassidy, Sheriff of Sullivan County Sheriff's Office.
And how long have you been with the sheriff's office?
Been with them a total of 29 years. This is my 7th year as sheriff.
Okay, and so that means you were sheriff in 2020 during the time of this investigation, is that
Yes.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm gonna take you back to February 2020. Was Sullivan County the first agency to be involved in the investigation of missing child Evelyn Boswell?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me briefly how Sullivan County how the investigation started?
Missing a child at first, and then once we found out that the last time the baby was saw was in December, we knew he was already behind the curve there. We was probably 2 months away from utilizing the resources that we needed to rescue or recover baby Evelyn.
Okay. How old were you told Evelyn was the time the investigation began?
15 months.
Okay. What was your role in the investigation?
Of course, as a lead agency, I always stay in contact and communication with all my detectives and everybody that was responded to this scene and responded to all the tips across pretty much the region. So, I was constantly in communication with TBI, FBI, and my detectives.
Okay. If you had to give an approximate number, how many Sullivan County employees do you think were tasked with working this investigation?
Aside from my executive staff, which is about 14, we had probably an additional 40 worked around the clock just on this case.
Okay. When you say around the clock, was there 24/7 coverage of this? And are we talking about from the day she was reported missing until the day that she was found?
Yes, ma'am.
So approximately 18 days.
Yeah, from about February 18th to March 6th, I looked through our records, and just overtime hours alone on this case was 740 hours.
Okay. And that's employees working their regular shifts plus overtime?
Plus overtime.
Okay. So let me ask this first. Did Sullivan County end up requesting the assistance from other agencies?
Yeah, this was a unique case. Normally we work most cases on our own, but we had to pull resources from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Virginia State Police, SBI.
What is the SBI?
State Bureau of Investigation, and then we had Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, and then multiple local regional jurisdictions up in North Carolina and other states in Middle Tennessee.
Okay. And is that essentially from following tips that were coming in?
Yeah, anything that came through, we followed every lead, try to look into everything that was brought to the VCC, which is the Virtual Command Center through Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
And is the Virtual Command Center, that's where the tips would come in to decide how to then send them back out to be investigated?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. With these different agencies and with Sullivan County, what types of resources were you able to, what did you utilize to try to find this baby?
We utilized every resource that I've ever even been involved in that was at our disposal. I mean, we took jets to different places to expedite the finding of any type of information that may lead to the recovery of Evelyn. We utilized everything the TBI and FBI provided us with, just anything that was at our disposal. And we probably used more resources for this than anything I can ever remember.
We know that one of the stories, false reports that the defendant gave was that a person by the name of Ethan Perry had Evelyn. What did you have to do in regards to following that lead? What resources were used?
Yeah, he was in the military in Louisiana, from what I remember, and we had to send some detectives up there as well.
Okay. And we know another story that she gave was that she kept hinting at Mendota, Virginia, over and over. Is that a lead that you also use resources to follow?
Yeah, United States Marshal, I left that out. United States Marshals helped us out on that one in Mendota.
Okay. She also told you that Angela Boswell, her mother, had Evelyn at some point. Did you follow that lead?
Yes, we worked extensively on that one. We thought that she may have had custody of baby Boswell, so we that went into North Carolina, and I think the dive team went into the ponds over there as well.
So in preparation for today's hearing, you were asked to review Sullivan County records regarding this investigation, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And the records that you reviewed, were they all maintained by the sheriff's office?
Yes, ma'am, just the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office.
And the purpose of those was to come up with the manpower that was used?
Yes, ma'am.
To get an approximate amount of manpower and overtime hours, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
What if the defendant had told the truth on day one?
Yeah.
Objection calls for speculation.
I could ask you a different way. Would you have found Evelyn if the defendant had told the truth on day one?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained. Yeah, you need to rephrase it. Too wrong.
If you had known that Evelyn was dead on day one, would that have changed the way you conducted your investigation?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would all of these resources have been used?
No, ma'am.
Were you aware of community involvement during the time of this investigation, the 18 days of investigation?
Yeah, extremely. They really provided us a lot of additional resources that not criminal justice related, just like they brought us food to the office so we could, eat and still work. And they all pulled together during that time and just showed tremendous outpouring support for our entire agency. And, across the nation, really, this was a national recognized case. So the people around here in the community, they started Evelyn's Army, and they provided food for us daily.
Based on your own personal observations, what did the impact on the community look like to you?
Very emotional, just like my staff. I mean, everything you see, people wanted to find this baby, and that was their number one goal. And, whatever it may take, whatever it may need, whatever resource may need to be utilized, everybody was willing and able to put in their time, effort, and energy to locate baby Evelyn. And, just like my staff, I mean, the emotional toll on them, the lack of sleep, but they never did get fatigued. They tried to send some home, and they said, no, I'm not going home. I'm going to work on this case until we find the baby.
Okay, no other questions? Does any questions Mr. Scott has for you?
I don't have any questions.
Thank you. Thank you.
State would call, take the next place. You're Matt Price, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What is your position at the sheriff's department?
I'm Lieutenant in Criminal Investigations.
And Lieutenant Price, you very familiar with the investigation involving the disappearance and death of Evelyn Boswell, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
What was your role in the investigation?
This case was assigned to me as the lead investigator with the sheriff's office. So I was the lead investigator.
And you worked, the sheriff has testified to, you worked hand in hand with numerous agencies in the investigation, including TBI, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. David Gratz at the time, also two of you worked extensively. That's correct. You familiar with the evidence that was collected in the case, the discovery of the body of the victim, Evelyn Boswell?
Yes.
Lieutenant Price, I'm going to hand you some photographs. I'm just going to do this one at a time so we, for a second, getting these exhibits in. I'm going to hand you the first photograph, ask you if you can show us, identify what's shown in that photo.
Yes, this is a photograph of looking inside the playhouse at the trash can where Evan was located.
And is that a true and accurate depiction of,
Yes.
of that scene?
Yeah.
Judge, would you move to make that exhibit number 1 for this hearing? Two, I'm sorry. And I don't know if it's helpful, but that is what the trial was introduced as exhibit number 15. If that's helpful or would create confusion.
It's just going to be exhibit 1 from that sentence.
Two. You recognize what's shown in the photographs just handed to you?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
Again, this is looking inside the playhouse at the trash can after the one of the bags had been moved off the top.
Okay. Is there anything of significance that you see as you look at the trash can itself?
Yes, it appears that the items inside the trash can have been compressed.
Judge, we would move to make that exhibit 3 for this hearing.
I don't know if they're going to show it. It's disturbing. She put her in the trash can with
Take a look at the photographs being handed to you. And again, ask that you can identify what's shown.
with food and
Yes.
trash.
This is a picture of the inside the trash can with the blanket removed where you can see baby Evelyn's leg.
Is that the first shot or first, I guess,
Yes.
discovery of the body?
It is correct.
Judge, we would make that exhibit 4 to this hearing.
So no, she's being sentenced for the 17 charges she got in addition to the homicide of Evelyn Boswell. She was sentenced for the homicide and she got life in prison for that. She was also hit with 17 additional charges of lying with the police, tampering with evidence. There's a few other ones too. I can't remember all of them. And she's being sentenced for those today. And that's what this is. She put Evelyn in the trash can with food and trash. Like it was horrible. She just threw her away. And I don't know, the fact that there was food and just regular household trash in there makes it worse. You're welcome, Heather. Thank you for asking. I'm so sorry, honey.
Shown in that photograph.
Yes.
What is it?
This is the trash bag that was inside the trash can where baby Evan was located, and also the child is with the aluminum foil and the blanket is laying beside the trash bag.
So the body's been removed from the trash.
Correct.
bag.
The body's been removed from the trash bag. It's in the trash bag with trash in it. Baby Evan is laying there wrapped in blankets and aluminum foil wrapped around her.
Judge, we would move to make that exhibit 5 this hearing. Do you recognize what is shown in the photographs just been handed to you?
Yes, I do.
And what is that? Picture of it.
This is the body of baby Evelyn after she was removed from the trash can, placed inside of a body bag. She's lying there with blankets wrapped around her and aluminum foil wrapped around where her head area was.
Judge, we would make that exhibit 6 to this hearing.
I want to tell y'all real quick, the aluminum foil was to make her boyfriend look guilty. He had schizophrenia. And at the time,
Photos just been handed to you.
he was making people wear aluminum foil, and he was wearing aluminum foil on his head, saying that he had to do so to keep the government from getting at his thoughts. And so she wrapped the baby's head in aluminum foil. It's speculated to make it look like he did it and not her, because again, he was out of his head at the time, and he's allegedly in a mental institution to this day.
Yes, I do.
What's in that photo?
And this is baby Evelyn laying in, still wrapped in blankets, laying on a body bag, with her arm exposed, showing the onesie that she was wearing.
Is that photo, that one of the photos that's taken at the time the body was recovered?
It is correct.
Judge, we move to make that exhibit 7 for this hearing.
Yep. It's speculated, but it seemed to make sense because they pressed about how the boyfriend was doing that at the time.
Yes, I do.
What is that?
This is baby Evelyn after the blankets and aluminum foil have been removed from her body. It shows the positioning of her head and how she was laying when the blanket was removed.
Judge, we move to make that exhibit 8 for this hearing. Finally, Lieutenant Price, give you one more photo asking you to identify that photograph, please.
Yes, I can. This is a picture of Evelyn, one of the last known pictures. We know that when she was alive.
Judge, we move to make that exhibit number 9 for this hearing. Thank you, Lieutenant Price. If you would answer any questions Mr. Scott has for you.
No questions, Judge.
Cindy pointed out that you can call child service. That's all the evidence state has. Cindy pointed out you can call CPS on yourself to get help. She gonna take the stand. Oh hell.
I would just like to say that the state of Tennessee treated me very unfair during this whole investigation. And had I had a fair trial and an impartial jury, I would have been acquitted of the murder charges. I would have never hurt my baby, and I did not kill Evelyn.
I'm sorry. Judge, the state is, prior to this hearing, filed a notice of intent in regards to enhancing factors that we believe apply, as well as a notice of intent to seek consecutive sentencing, which is what we are asking the court to do. And we believe, based upon the seriousness of the offense, as well as the fact that Ms. Boswell is a dangerous offender whose behavior indicates little, no regard for human life, that she had no hesitation about committing a crime in which the risk of human life was high. This court shall bring those sentences consecutive to each other. And I want to touch briefly on the enhancement factors, and primarily on the one that I think just screams out in this case, which is a violation of trust. Truly, I think the facts that were involved in this case, and the court, of course, consider everything that was presented and that came in at trial, as well as the photographs that have been introduced to the sentencing hearing, which again, those were all part of the trial evidence as well. But the trust that Miss Boswell betrayed upon her daughter was just so callous. She chose herself repeatedly, time and time again, over her child. All deaths are horrible, but for a small child to die in the way that Evelyn died just shows such extreme callousness. And those photographs show you. I mean, she was discarded like a piece of common garbage. Detective Lieutenant Price testified to, it looks like the body has been compressed, pushed down in the trash can, so we can fit more trash, more garbage on top of a child. But probably the most hurtful and severe part of this whole and painful part of this is the fact that all that occurred at the hands of the one person that she should have been able to rely upon and trust to protect her own mother. But Megan didn't do that. Megan repeatedly chose Megan. Megan chose her life. Megan chose living in the big house out by the lake. Megan chose going to the movies. She chose going to Blowing Rock, going to Gatlinburg, again and again and again, over her own daughter. In order for the court to find that the defendant was a dangerous offender and apply consecutive sentencing, there are two things that the case law has said the court has to find. One is that it relates to the severity of the crime. And I can think of nothing that would be any easier than to relate consecutive sentencing to the facts of this case. And what Ms. Boswell did. I mean, not only did she murder her own child and then go about her own life, but then once law enforcement was finally brought into the case, not because of her, not because she did anything, but because it finally got reported by her dad. Well, then she manipulates law enforcement, manipulates the community by continuing to lie over and over and over again, causing extraordinary resources to have to be involved for weeks trying to find this child in the hopes that she's alive. And then even after that, even after she finally coughs up the fact that her child is dead, she continues to lie about not knowing where she is. When all along, she's sitting there stuffed upside down in a trash can in her childhood playhouse. So I think it is very easy for this court to find that the severity of this crime and her suffocating her own child, putting her in a trash can, and then repeatedly lying about it to cover it up relates to the severity of the crime. The second finding this court has to make is that it was necessary that consecutive sentencing was necessary to protect the public from further crimes. And I provided the court, as well as Mr. Scott, with the case of State v. Taylor, which was a case in which a small child had been beaten to death. And then the mother basically delayed in reporting, calling 911, which eventually resulted in the child dying because she didn't receive any medical attention. And The court in that case found that the dangerous offender classification was satisfied because the defendant had demonstrated extreme callousness towards the health and welfare of the victim, and the results were fatal. Well, Judge, I really, it does not get any more callous than what the defendant did in this case. You know, she turned her back, she turned her life, she turned her trust away from her own child. Evelyn got in the way of the life Megan Boswell wanted to live, and so she eliminated that problem. It truly does not get any more callous than that. So the statement submits that both those factors are met, and that the court should impose consecutive sentencing. I've already touched on the element as far as trust being involved in the enhancing factor. And then sitting here listening to Ms. Boswell's rather brief allocution, I think it's also right for the court to consider the fact that she sits here today in this courtroom still having absolutely no remorse and taking no responsibility for the death of her child. Once again, she wants to make all of us victims in the case, make herself a victim. Sheriff's office, I guess, should be issuing an apology to her for the way she's just been unfairly treated during this whole process. Judge, Miss Boswell was not treated unfairly. Her child was treated unfairly. Her 15-month-old child never had a chance.
Exactly.
Because of the one person who should have protected her. For that reason, the state is asking you to maximize her sentence in the remaining counts that she has to be sentenced on. And we would ask that they be run consecutive, Judge. Thank you.
Tell them, DA.
Judge, I guess I'll try to address this in somewhat where Mr. Harper did maybe in the backwards fashion. Ms. Boswell had no prior criminal history when this case started, when the investigation started. At some point, she was convicted of a reckless driving B misdemeanor in Washington County, I think in February of 2020. That's the only criminal history she has in this court. She's been in jail since she was 18 years old. She will be in jail if this court were to sentence her at the low end of everything, and not run it consecutive. She'll be in jail until she's 69 years old. So the court then has to determine, at that point, is she going to be a threat to society? Society needs to be protected from 69-year-old Megan Boswell. The court should, I guess first the court has to consider the length of the sentence. She's a range one offender as to each count. The court should impose I think the sentence is short of a sentence is as necessary, so the court's supposed to be to achieve the purposes of sentencing. Here, she's serving a life sentence. She will be eligible for parole at 69 years old. So how much more do you need? Essentially, the state asks you to sentence her to life without parole. That's what they want. And we have addressed that issue already in a manner of speaking. I guess, practice law 25 years, not the only jury sentencing I've ever done. But the jury had the opportunity, after hearing all these facts, to consider whether to sentence her to life without parole or life with parole. They sentenced her to life with parole. And I know you're not bound by that on these other counts, but I think in fairness and in deference to that jury, we have to give some respect to what determination they made. And they were aware of all the other charges. Obviously, they heard the guilt phase on those and convicted her. So I think that is important to consider. She's eligible for probation on all the other charges. The court has to make a determination whether or not those sentences should be suspended or served. The court has to make a determination whether, if they are served, how they're served, consecutive or concurrent. As it relates to the dangerous offender who society has to be protected from, I think the case law is quite clear. Not every person convicted of first-degree murder and another felony is going to fall into that category. Normally, in a lot of the cases you see multiple victims, multiple acts. Here, all those things kind of go together. And I guess the other thing we have to talk about is what counts merged together in a sentence. I would suggest that the murder counts merged together for one count. That the child abuse and child neglect counts should merge. And that all of the following false reports should merge. Because I sent a case to you yesterday. State versus Smith, 436 Southwest 3rd, 751. This is Supreme Court decided at 24. Based on the rule of leniency, the court found that even though in that case
My computer went crazy.
days of different officers, just in this case, they had to merge, and that's what I think should happen here. Is all those counts should merge. And I guess finally, I want to address what Mr. Harper said about Ms. Boswell's comments. I think a lot of defendants would probably feel that way. But I think she's entitled to maintain her defense. She doesn't have to come in here for purposes of sentencing and somehow take responsibility. The law doesn't require that. That's not one of the factors to consider for consecutive sentencing. That's not one of the factors to consider for length of sentence. The defendant has a right to maintain their innocence, and to hold that against them and somehow sentence them to more jail time because they don't come in here and say, I did it. That violates due process. It violates the right to trial by jury, the right to appeal. So I would suggest to the court that the appropriate sentence here should be bottom end of the range. The sentences should run concurrent, and ultimately she should be left with a chance of parole when she's 69 years old. However that is structured.
So he's hoping for concurrent so she can get a parole when she's 69. Thank you, Banana Bottom, for the super sticker. That was so very sweet and supportive of you, and I really appreciate that.
Court will be in recess for 15 minutes.
All right. All right, let me mute this. I'm going to pull it up on my phone. We can kind of look at the highlights of the Megan Boswell sentencing while I get this pulled up on my phone. Thank you, Banana Bottom, for the super sticker. Yeah, we were talking about the gypsies. If I remember correctly, she said in an interview her dad was a gypsy, and it is more prevalent overseas than it is here. And I know that because I looked into it. I enjoyed the show, My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding and things like that, but it portrayed them in a way that they just get drunk, they live in RVs, and they buy flashy jewelry. And I was like, that's not telling me about the culture and the history of it. So I looked into it and I kind of learned a lot. I do that a lot. I look into the history of things. I was binge watching The Tudors. And while that was a show about, you know, for Showtime, it was one of those, what do you call it, Skinamax shows, very adult. It did give you some history on it, which I found interesting. Quite a few people are doing the live stream on it. All right. This is from 6 months ago. We'll jump over here.
I don't know if he dropped her off somewhere or somebody or what he did, so I don't know.
Megan Boswell in the
we'll go right
A
here.
jury of your peers having found you guilty
There
of
we go.
first-degree murder and the perpetration of a felony. It's a judgment of this court. You are guilty.
Megan Boswell found guilty of murdering her 15-month-old daughter, Evelyn, after a week-long trial. I look at some of the top moments and tell you what the jury says about her sentence. Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Megan Boswell, she had hoped that the jury in Sullivan County, Tennessee would believe her defense that her daughter, Evelyn, died as the result of an accident. But the jurors, they didn't buy it. They deliberated for just 4.5 hours before returning verdicts.
In count 2, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of first-degree murder and the perpetration of a felony. It's a judgment of this court. You are guilty. In count 3, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of first-degree murder and the perpetration of a felony. It's a judgment of this court. You are guilty. In count 4, a judgment of your peers having found you guilty of aggravated child abuse. It's a judgment of the court. You are guilty.
You get the picture. The jury found Megan Boswell guilty on all 20 counts, including abuse of a corpse, for placing little Evelyn's body into a trash can in a playhouse on property owned by her father, Tommy Boswell. Sullivan.
So yeah, Tommy Boswell is who we were referencing with the gypsies. I do know they're more common in the UK. Hannah said, yeah, travelers are more common in the UK, mainly Irish travelers, but we do have Romani too. Yeah, you watched them all. You watched them fighting, acting them like a bunch of crazies. It was nuts. I have the court TV pulled up so that we can jump right back over there when they come back from recess. Basically, her attorneys want it to run concurrent so that she has the possibility of parole at age 69. And I think her attorneys and her, as you just saw, always felt like she was kind of railroaded by the state of Tennessee and she shouldn't have been convicted of first-degree homicide because she claims the boyfriend did it, which in turn goes back to the aluminum foil on top of Megan's head. The boyfriend's father was grilled kind of on the boyfriend. I can't remember his name specifically, but the father admitted that he would wear aluminum foil on his head because he felt like the government was tapping into his brain and reading his thoughts. And it was right when they were talking about Evelyn being found with aluminum foil on her head. So they tried to make it seem like the boyfriend was more culpable, whether he was or not. I have no idea. I was not there. So I figured that I would play this to kind of remind you guys of what happened during the trial and all that. Yeah, parole at the age of 69, these nuts. Isn't she gorgeous? She was absolutely gorgeous. Such a beautiful baby, them big blue eyes. And the video, I think I have a short on my page showing a video of her. One of the only videos that have ever been released. I mean, she was absolutely gorgeous. And the boyfriend used the excuse that he didn't want to be with somebody who had kids. And so she committed the homicide of the baby.
County deputies, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation agents, and the FBI launched a massive search for little Evelyn in February of 2020, almost exactly 5 years ago. Evelyn hadn't been seen for nearly 2 months, and it became apparent almost immediately that Megan Boswell, she could not keep her story straight about where her daughter was and the last time she had seen her. The following month, in March of 2020, Megan Boswell was charged with false reporting, and little Evelyn's body was found in that trash can in the playhouse on her dad's property. Jurors actually got to see drone footage of that playhouse as Tommy Boswell testified. He told jurors he saw Megan at Christmas time in December 2019, and Evelyn was not with her.
Did your trip there at Pigeon Forge, did Megan have Evelyn with her at the time?
No.
This is her dad, the one we were talking about being of gypsy lineage.
Did that seem unusual to you?
Yes, I asked her.
Okay. You asked her what?
Where Evelyn's at.
Okay. Did she tell you?
Said that Ethan had her.
Okay. Do you know who Ethan was?
Yeah, I met Ethan. He's a nice young man. I thought a lot of Ethan.
Okay.
Ethan was
Who
his
did you
name.
think Ethan was at that time? Or who did she say Ethan was?
Well, they used to date.
Okay.
But she said
Exactly,
Ethan was
Kate.
the father.
Okay.
And he wanted to see Evelyn. He'd been in the Army.
I'm sorry, Ethan was Evelyn's father, not the boyfriend.
So I said, I'm going to stand back. If he's going to man up and want to see his child, I'm going to let him see her for a while. Then after a while, I said, enough's enough. It's my turn.
Okay. So at that time, when you went on this trip, she told you Evelyn's with Ethan.
Yes.
It was actually Tommy Boswell's call to authorities that launched the missing persons search for Evelyn.
Did you see Megan after Christmas?
Here or there, very rarely.
I'm sorry.
Just here or there, not that much.
Here or there. Okay. Did you see Evelyn?
No, last time I seen Evelyn was on Thanksgiving.
Did you ever, in those times that you saw Megan after Christmas, did you ever ask her, hey?
Yes, I asked her numerous times.
Okay. And what did she tell you?
She kept coming up with different stories and different lies.
Okay. Well, what was she telling you?
First, it was Ethan had her. No, first, let me back up. I'm sorry. Hunter's mom was watching her. And then she come off with Ethan had her. And after it went on for a while, I said, I'm going to do something about this. Well, she told me that Ethan wouldn't give her back. I said, hey, let's go get an attorney. I said, he can see his daughter, but I said, he's not taking her.
Okay. What did she say when you told her that?
I can't remember the exact words. She said, Dad, give me a day or two or something. She said, I'll get her something. And it just lie after lie.
Okay.
So, yeah, baby Evelyn had been missing for quite a while before Dad called CPS and basically had them come out and try to help him find the baby. And then I think it was a while afterwards that she was found in the trash can in the playhouse.
Any point in time did you ever see Evelyn?
No. Last time I seen her was on Thanksgiving, sir.
Okay.
Oh, my God, Parabola.
So at some point,
sorry.
did you make an ultimatum to Megan about seeing your granddaughter?
Yeah, I told her and I told her mom.
Okay. What'd you tell her?
It was on a weekend. Oh, excuse me. I said, come Monday morning, which I told this to her mom. I said, come high hell water. I said, I'm going to get on the phone. I said, I'm going to find my granddaughter. I said, I don't care what I got to do. I said, I want to know what's going on. I said, enough's enough. And that's when I got on the phone and made the phone call.
All right.
That Monday morning.
So, yeah, Grandpa was the one. He won't have it. He was like, you're going to produce her or I'm going to find her.
All right. And
he was devastated.
Did you talk with, who did you talk with?
I don't know. I can't remember all of their names.
Okay. Was it somebody at DCS?
Yes, sir.
Department of Children's Services?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what did you tell them?
I just told them, I told you I hadn't seen my granddaughter and I was worried about her.
Okay. Did you tell them how long it had been since you'd seen your granddaughter?
I want to tell you about Upside. It's a great free app that will get you cash back on things like.
I don't want you to tell me about it. He was devastated when he found out that she was deceased. I mean, that man, I think he even cried on the stand, if I'm not mistaken.
Megan Boswell at one point.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember when that was?
The end of my college semester.
Okay. And do you know when that would have been?
Around the 1st of December.
Okay. Who was there when you went to Chili's that day?
Me, Megan, and Evelyn.
Okay. Anyone else?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you sit at a table or a booth?
Booth.
Okay. And did you sit beside anyone?
No, ma'am.
So Megan and Evelyn were on one side of the table and you were on the other?
Yes, ma'am.
What was your impression of Evelyn that day?
She was dirty, and I could smell her across the table.
Okay. Have you been around babies before?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Was she beyond what a normal dirty baby would be?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Her lawyer objected all the time and tried to have the case thrown out on technicalities quite a bit.
Sustained.
You said you've been around other babies. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
See, her lawyer objected to how she would know what a normal baby is supposed to look and smell like. Like, it was ridiculous. Miss Scorpio Rising, thank you for gifting 5 speculation station memberships. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. I cannot see who they went to right now because I have the Court TV page pulled up on my phone, so we don't miss anything in the sentencing. But if you were gifted from Miss Scorpio and you are aware you were gifted, please tell Miss Scorpio thank you. Thank you again, Miss Scorpio. That was so very sweet of you. I will grab the crazy train to pick our new members up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you again. Thank you so much, Miss Scorpio. I really appreciate that. That was very sweet of you.
Based on your personal experience with other babies, did you consider Evelyn dirtier than what your experience was with other children?
Based on my personal opinion, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And can you tell us how? Can you describe it for us?
Her face and hands were dirty, and her clothes were dirty.
Okay. Do you recall when Megan started working at the chicken shack?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you recall if she was dating anyone when she started working at the chicken shack?
Not when she started.
Okay. When did she start dating someone? Shortly after?
About a week or two after.
Okay. And who was that?
Hunter Wood.
Okay.
Hunter Wood is the boyfriend's name. There we go.
So around this time, did you notice anything different about the defendant, Megan Boswell?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what you noticed?
She was spending a lot more time with the gentleman and not Evelyn.
Okay.
And that's where it became that she wanted to keep Hunter, but Hunter just wanted to hit it and quit it and made the excuse that she had a baby and he didn't want to be with her. Duchess and Rubber Ramada, thank y'all for being here. I really appreciate that. Duchess said, hey, allegedly speculating. This case truly angers me. Thank you for covering the Boswell trial today. Megan has a lot of nerve. She did. When she got up on that stand and was like, I shouldn't have been charged with this. Oh, my God. Like, really, ma'am? I'm going to need you to take about 15 seats. That was ridiculous. Thank you guys for being here.
After this time, when she's dating Hunter Wood, did you see Evelyn with Megan Boswell at any time?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you see Hunter with Evelyn at any time?
No, ma'am.
So this is critical because Evelyn goes missing shortly after Megan Boswell starts dating Hunter Wood. And that's another part of Carter's testimony that's important when it comes to the timeline in the case in December of 2019.
Caitlin, is this one of the pictures you received from Megan Boswell? Was it via text?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did she indicate that Evelyn was with her that day?
No, ma'am.
Did she send you any pictures of her with Evelyn that day?
No, ma'am.
Did she seem to be upset at all that day when
No,
she
ma'am.
sent you these pictures?
All right, we're back.
Did she also send you this photograph from that same day?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell me what the date is that's
Oh my
behind
gosh.
her on the photograph?
All right, we're back. Sidebar. Tyler Dole recap. Oh, wow. Interesting. That'll be interesting. Awesome, Duchess. I'm going to try to grab your link. Oh, goodness. Okay. That's Duchess's link. If y'all haven't subscribed to her, go subscribe. Please. Oh, thank you, Duchess. I appreciate you too, sweetheart. You have a good day at work, Lois. Lolas. No? Did it get the wrong link? Hold on. Let me try to grab the link again. I guess I copied the channel ID. Let me try to grab the link. There we go.
Sentence for these offenses. The court has considered the evidence presented at the trial at this sentencing hearing. Pre-sentence report filed April 4th, 2025, more than 10 days ago. The principles of sentencing and arguments made as sentencing alternatives, the nature and characteristics of the criminal conduct involved, the evidence and information offered by the parties on mitigating and enhancing factors, any statistical information provided by the administrative officer of the courts as to sentencing practices for similar offenses in Tennessee, located at www.tncourts.gov, and any statement the defendant has made on her own behalf about sentencing and the defendant's potential for rehabilitation or treatment. I'm not sure if it was agreed, but the defendant's a range 1 standard offender under Tennessee felony classification laws. And what that means, the aggravated child abuse and neglect charges are Class A felonies, and as a range 1 offender, those would carry somewhere between 15 and 25 years. The tampering with evidence is a Class C felony. The range would be between 3 and 6 years. False reports are Class D felonies, with range 1 being 2 to 4 years. The abuse of a corpse is a Class E felony, and failure to report death under suspicious, unusual, or unnatural circumstances, also a Class E felony. Those Class E felonies for range 1 would be a range of 1 to 2 years. In determining where the appropriate sentence should be within that range, while not mandatory any longer, the enhancement factors and the mitigating factors are advisory for the court. The state has urged in its filing state's urged number 3, enhancing factor 3, that the offense involves more than one victim. I think for purposes of this case and all the proof that I heard, I can understand how that argument could be made, but I'm not going to find that enhancing factor number 3 applies. Enhancing factor number 4 is urged by the state. A victim of the offense was particularly vulnerable because of age, physical or mental disability. I think that will apply. Testimony was that baby Evelyn was everybody keeps saying 15 months old. I think she was 15 months old when she was found. My recollection of the proof was that she was approximately 13 months old when she went missing. Is that wrong?
Thank
Her
you, Indy.
approximate age at death was 15 months old.
At death?
At death.
Okay. So she was 15 months old.
Thank you, Indy. That was so sweet of you. I really appreciate it.
It was 13 months old at death. It was 15 months old. They assumed when she was reported. When they didn't know she was alive or dead.
Indy said, thank you for your
At the time of her
kindness.
death, she was somewhere between 13 and 15.
Yes.
The state, the court accepts enhancing factor number 4. Number 5 is urged by the state. The defendant treated or allowed a victim to be treated with exceptional cruelty during the commission of the offense. I don't know, and I'm not going to sit here all day and regurgitate the facts from the 11-day trial. But thinking back on the proof that I heard, there can be no more cruel act than to stuff a 13 to 15-month-old baby.
Okay, Duchess.
Wrapped in blankets and aluminum foil, head first into the trash can. Especially when that 13 to 15-month-old baby is your baby. So the court accepts number 5. Number 6, the personal injuries inflicted upon or amount of damage to the property was particularly great. The court accepts number 6. There's no greater injury that you can inflict on another human being than death. Enhancing factor 10 was in the filing. Defendant had no hesitation about committing a crime when the risk of human life was high. The court accepts number 10. And then 14, the defendant abused a position of private trust. And again, the relationship between mother and child, there can be no greater private trust on this earth than that.
Exactly.
The court accepts number 14. Those are all the enhancing factors that were urged, all the ones that the court, after having looked through them, believes applies. Next, I have to consider mitigating factors in determining the appropriate length of sentence. And again, I'm not going to read, there's 12 statutory mitigators under 40, 35, 113. I'm not going to read all of these in. The defense didn't put any arguments forward as to any mitigating factors that should apply. The court, though, was required on its own, after having read the pre-sentence report, heard the proof, to apply any factors I think are applicable. So there's at least one that could be applicable, and I'm going to talk about it for a moment. If the defendant, because of youth or old age, lacks substantial judgment in committing the offense, the proof is that she was 18 when the killing occurred. But I also have to look at, so there's no question that she was a young adult. But I also have to look at all the other proof and circumstances surrounding the case. And it became very clear to the court upon hearing the evidence that the defendant, in her mind, saw a chance to lead a different life than what she thought she was going to be leading. quite frankly, circumstantially from all the proof, baby Evelyn was a stumbling block to leaving that rock. So she made the decision to remove that stumbling block. And because that's the tenor of the proof that this court heard, I reject mitigating factor number 6. She exercised judgment. It wasn't good judgment, but she exercised judgment in doing the things that she did. So of the 12 statutory mitigators, the court doesn't find that any are applicable to this case. The 13th is any other factor consistent with the purposes of the chapter. And courts regularly, if a person comes to the court without a substantial criminal history, courts regularly include that as factor number 13. If a person comes before the court and they've had a long, productive work history, then that factors into 13. If they've had military service, those are the kinds of things that factor into 13. In this case, Ms. Boswell, she did not have a long work history. In fact, the pre-sentence report said, she stated that she'd only ever had one job in her life, and that was at the chicken shack where she was working right around the time of this killing. I am going to give her credit for not having, even though she was only 18, I'm going to give her credit for not having a substantial criminal history, either as an adult or a juvenile. So, the court weighs all the facts that I've heard during the trial, all of the testimony that we've heard at this sentencing hearing. When the court weighs the enhancing factors and the mitigating factors, that's how I arrive at or not a verdict, but a sentence. I do want to talk, I want to talk about each of these counts individually with regard to the enhancing factors. Because if an enhancing factor is part and parcel of a charge, then it can't be used as an enhancing factor. So for count 4, aggravated child abuse, the state has to prove that the defendant knowingly, by other than accidental means, treated a child under 8 years of age in such a manner as to inflict serious bodily injury. The court is of the opinion that number 4 still applies because of the tender age of the child at the time. It's one thing to be a child under 8 when you're 6 years old or 7 years old. It's quite another thing to be vulnerable because your age is still literally being counted in months. So if the court finds number 4 applies, number 5 is not an element, it applies. Number 6 applies due to the death is not an element of aggravated child abuse or aggravated child neglect. 10 and 14 apply. So the court finds that they all apply to counts 4 and 5. So the court's of the opinion in that Class A felony that the enhancing factors and the aggravated nature of this case in general take that sentence from 15 to 25 years. And when the court weighs, and quite frankly, each of these enhancing factors, with the exception, number 4 has low weight because of its similarity for those two counts, to the charge. 5, 6, 10, and 14 have great weight. The court affords very little weight to the fact that Ms. Boswell, at 18 years of age, had no serious criminal history. So the court's of the opinion, in counts 4 and 5, that the sentence should be 25 years. The court's also of the opinion that count 5 merges into count 4. In the tampering with evidence, the court's of the opinion that all the enhancing factors should be afforded great weight, and the sentence should be 6 years. The mitigating factor, which is the court's been giving very little weight, would not bring it back down. Now, with the false report, the court's of the opinion that the enhancing factors would take that sentence from 2 up to 4 years. And again, there being only the one consideration of the mitigator, it'll be 4 years. Under the case of State versus Smith, Tennessee Supreme Court, 436 Southwest 3rd, 751, handed down in 2014. Justice Holder, I believe, delivered the opinion of the court. And the opinion of the court was that due to the principle of lenity, not leniency, that a false report, because the legislature was ambiguous as to how they think that a false report should be punished, that the unit of prosecution isn't determined by the number of individual and distinct occurrences of false statement, but that the unit of prosecution is whether a false statement was given pursuant to a particular incident or offense. At least that's the way I read it. So it wasn't that it's a continuation of the interview. It's that the incident that is in the officer's concern is the disappearance of the child. And the Supreme Court says in that case that even if you tell 16 false statements about the disappearance of that child on different days and to different people and different variations of the story, it's still one incident. It's the disappearance of a child. So count 7 through 17 all merge into one count. So they all merge, counts 8 through 17 merge into count 7. In count 19, the Courts of the opinion the enhancing factors take that sentence from 1 up to 2 years. So that'll be a 2-year sentence. In count 20, and again, I'm weighing the lack of mitigators. In count 20, that sentence will be 2 years as well, for the same reason. Now, since I've already talked about merger, the courts of the opinion that counts 1, 2, and 3 would all merge into a single life sentence. So counts 2 and 3 merge into count 1. Now we'll talk about consecutive sentencing. In the state's filing, the state under 40-35-115 urged, and I think this might be a mistake, that urged number 2, that the defendant is an offender whose record of criminal activity is extensive.
And of course, ruling, I just so clarify, it wasn't a mistake, but at the time it was filed, we would have all the false report counts, reliable as criminal history. Obviously, since the court's stronger, more the puts this that doesn't exist anymore, so we're not relying on that one.
The court rejection. The court also relies on enhancer number 4 from the same statute, 40-35-115, that the defendant is a dangerous offender whose behavior indicates little or no regard for human life and no hesitation about committing a crime in which the risk to human life is high. Now that's what the factor says in the statute. But as pointed out in State versus Taylor, (2017) Westlaw 2179952, also case numbers M 2015-02142-CCA-R3-CD. It's an unpublished case, but the unpublished case references published opinions. And the most important one that it references is State versus Moore, that quotes from the main case is the Wilkerson case, 905 Southwest 2nd. (933) Tennessee Supreme Court from 1995. And the Supreme Court, in determining the appropriateness of 40-35-115, enhancing factor number 4, states that in addition to what's stated in the statute, that a court must also find that a sentence, consecutive sentencing, is necessary in order to protect the public from further misconduct by the defendant, and that the terms are reasonably related to the severity of the offense. So from the facts of this case, and again, I'm not going to just keep repeating it. Everybody who sat through that trial knows the facts that came in. The testimony during the trial was that child was suffocated. When you look at the pictures of how tightly this baby was wrapped in blankets and aluminum foil, and the mechanism of being stuffed into that trash can head first. There's no doubt in my mind that this defendant had absolutely no hesitation when she killed her daughter. And in hearing the proof during trial of how she continued to live her life, and from hearing the proof circumstantially as to why she might have done this deed, because this new boyfriend is the life that she wanted to grasp onto. It's like the state said, the house on the lake, a lifestyle that she wanted for herself. The fact that Evelyn was just in the way. And looking at all the video that we saw during the trial, this court never once saw remorse, never once saw empathy out of the defendant. So she is a dangerous offender. The circumstances surrounding the commission of this offense are absolutely aggravated. This baby couldn't care for herself. This baby had the only life this baby knew. The only way this baby could get through a day was through her mom. And I understand that the way the parole system is set up when dealing with a life conviction is that she has to serve 51 years before she's even eligible for consideration for release. And Mr. Scott asked the question during his argument, which was the right question to ask. Is Megan Boswell at 69 years of age coming out of prison a risk to society? And the only conclusion that I can come to after hearing the proof in this case, seeing the evidence in this case, seeing how utterly unconcerned with the fact that she took the life of a 15-month-old child, her own child. The court has to answer that question, yes. That society does need to be protected from the evil that lurks in her heart. And then would the aggregate length of the sentence reasonably relate to the offense which she stands convicted? For the same reasons I just said, yes is the answer. So the court finds that all those sub-factors, if you will, are met. And I want to read a passage. And I think the state may have, but I highlighted this yesterday when I read the case. In State versus Durantes, 331 Southwest 3rd, 370, at page 376. The Tennessee Supreme Court in 2001 found that the dangerous offender classification was satisfied where a defendant demonstrated extreme callousness toward the health and welfare of the child victim, and that the results of that callousness were fatal. It's almost as though that passage was written to describe this case. Therefore, the 25-year sentence for the merging counts of aggravated child abuse and neglect will be consecutive to the life sentence. The 6-year sentence for tampering with evidence and the 4-year sentence for false report will be concurrent with each other, but consecutive to the 25 years. And the 2-year sentences for the abuse of corpse in count 19 and count 20 will be concurrent with each other, but consecutive to the 6 years. So in counts 4 through 20, that'll be a 33-year sentence as a range 1 standard offender, consecutive to her life sentence. The court has considered probation. She's not eligible for probation on the Class A felonies. That 25 years has to be served by statute. The court has considered probation on the additional 8 years and finds that a grant of probation would depreciate the seriousness of this case, given the facts of this case, given the fact that she has shown no remorse, she has shown no empathy towards this child, her child, and probation in those counts will be denied. Mr. Scott, I believe at sidebar, you had indicated that you would like to have a transcript prepared before, in order to prepare the motion for the trial.
Yes, Judge.
I'll order that transcript, whatever order I need to sign, share, I'll do it.
Judge, I would also like to have this sentencing hearing as well.
Sentencing hearing will need to be typed up as well. We'll set this for status. We'll send Ms. Boswell back to TDOC. And let's set this for a status on January 16th to see where we are on getting the transcript prepared.
That's fine, but I'll wait Ms. Boswell's appearance.
Well, what I prefer her to do is appear by Zoom.
That's fine.
If she can, but if not, yes. All right, that's all.
Yep, she ain't gonna be touching grass ever again. Look at her smiling. Oh. All right. They all seem happy. All right. We'll go back over here and finish watching this real quick, and then we'll go to the other live stream if we have time today. This is kind of recapping the trial a little bit.
It says 2019.
She is.
And you may not recall, but if you do you remember when those photographs were sent to you?
I do not recall.
Okay. Would it have been after early December?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it would have been, you said she started dating Hunter 1 to 2 weeks after the beginning of December. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So is it fair to say it was at least 1 to 2 weeks after mid-December?
Yes.
Is that fair?
So again, she's been guaranteed never to see the light of day again. And I'm glad.
Yes.
Okay. So for mid-December well, let me say this. Prior to Thanksgiving of 2019, did Megan talk a lot about Evelyn?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you see her post a lot about Evelyn?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about mid-December? Is she still doing that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. At some point, did you ask her where Evelyn was?
Yes.
What did she say?
Me too.
She said that she was with her father.
Okay. When you say her father, do you know who do you think she was talking about, or who was she talking about?
She was speaking of Ethan.
Okay. Did she say why Evelyn was with Ethan?
Yes, ma'am.
What did she say?
She said that Ethan came home and got emergency custody.
Okay. Did she ever show you any paperwork?
No, ma'am.
That becomes important too, because Ethan did not have Evelyn with him. That was one of the first stories that Megan Boswell told. But the defense tried to make some points through Carter's testimony.
Miss Carter, you described Evelyn as being dirty that day.
Yes, sir.
Had you ever seen Evelyn dirty before?
No, sir.
Did you ever see any signs of abuse?
No, sir.
Did Megan seem like a loving mother to you?
Yes, sir.
Did she seem devoted to Evelyn?
Yes, sir.
But the point is that all of that changed after she got with Ethan.
Did you ever see her neglect her in any way?
No, sir.
There was even more damaging testimony about Evelyn's condition that came from a woman who babysat her for Megan Boswell.
You said you babysat her last of November to early December.
Yes.
So this would have been taken around that time.
I remember
Yes.
this.
Okay. And does Evelyn to you appear healthy here?
Pardon?
Was she healthy?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And was she walking?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the last day that you babysat Evelyn?
Pretty much.
Okay. Do you remember what time Megan picked Evelyn up that day?
It was late that night, say maybe 10:30.
Okay.
Yeah, this lady talks about how her house was like trashed, and it was a house her daddy gave her. And like all she had to do was keep the lights on, and she trashed that house. There was diapers and food and just nastiness everywhere.
And you may not recall, but do you recall the date?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Did Megan indicate that she needed you to babysit again after that day?
No, she said that she wouldn't need me
Hey,
no
Edith.
more.
Okay. And did she tell you that when she picked Evelyn up, or did she tell you that later?
She told me
It up a
later.
little bit.
Okay. So when she picked her up, did you think you were going to be babysitting again?
Yes.
Okay. When did you learn you wouldn't be?
Maybe a couple days later, she got to where she wasn't bringing her.
She just wasn't bringing her?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. During the days that you watched Evelyn, did you have any concerns?
Yes.
Okay. What concerns did you have?
She had a terrible diaper rash.
Okay. When you say terrible, can you describe it, please?
It was just really like sore looking, had marks through it, maybe scratches. It's just really bad looking.
Okay. Have you kept other children Evelyn's age before?
Oh, yes.
Erica Stacy, whose son dated Megan Boswell at one time, testified about how Megan talked about her little daughter.
So yeah, I just wanted to go back through all of this by Rubber to kind of give you guys remind you of what happened during the trial. But yeah, there was a lot of really interesting points made during the trial. She was not sentenced to life, but it was the correct sentence in my opinion.
This time that you were around Megan, Did she ever say anything about Evelyn that surprised you?
She would always say that Evelyn was mean as crap.
Okay. And is that the word she used, crap?
No, she would say mean.
Okay. Did she say that more than once?
Yes.
Okay.
Imagine somebody saying that a baby, probably between, I don't know, 10 and 13 months old, is mean as shit in a mean way. Like, yeah, I've heard people say that, oh, she's mean as shit, but like not in a mean way, but she's saying it in a mean way. Heard people say it, kind of picking, but not, she wasn't doing it in a way to pick.
And that would have been around the time that Evelyn was a year old?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Why did that surprise you?
I was raised, you just don't say that about a child.
Was Evelyn a mean baby?
Not that I ever saw.
Okay. What type of baby was Evelyn?
Very happy, very smiley.
Okay. And do you recall trying to reach out to Megan to continue to try to see Evelyn again?
Yes.
Okay. And would Megan respond to you?
She did for a little bit, and then there was a time that she didn't respond.
All of this paints a terrible, terrible picture of Megan Boswell, about her priorities and how she was treating Evelyn and how she felt about her in the weeks leading up to her disappearance. Then there were the many, 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 many interviews with detectives.
So she got it consecutive. The judge made it where she can't get out at the age of 69. She won't be able to be paroled.
The last time you saw Evelyn alive?
Whenever Mom left with her.
When? Back in December? Okay. Who has seen Evelyn alive since then?
Just Mom.
So, what do you think happened?
I know she's got the reading somebody. Mom knows that she's the.
I'll slow it back down. I'm trying to have time for the other one today. We're going to see if we have time for it or not.
Like, stay up there.
Why would she take her from you and not give her back?
I don't know.
Why in the hell did you not tell us this to me?
I don't know, maybe she might do something, you know, like trying to get somewhere.
So your mom might do something? I can understand that.
Sorry.
Listen to me. We want to find this baby.
I thought she might be gone through somewhere. I should never find her again, so I wasn't talking to you all about her or anything like that.
Okay.
So basically what she's saying is that her mama had her. At this point, she was saying her mama had her. And if she had said something, her mama was going to do something with the baby and she'd never see the baby again.
So, how can we find Evelyn?
I don't know where she's at. I tried to call her yesterday. You know, I tried to call her all day yesterday. We went to exit 7, tried to find her, couldn't find her. I don't know.
What's the one thing you want most in this world right now? Where do we go? Where do I leave from here right now? Where do I send 40 people? Where do I send 100 people? Where do I send a plane?
He said, where do I send 40, 100 people, a plane? Tell me where to go. I will go get her. And it's all just bullshit. Yeah, they're saying, like, I don't know. I don't know if I've heard mean as shit. I've heard mean as shit, I think, and ornery, but it's like in a joking manner, not in a very serious manner. Yeah, it does show her disdain for her mom. And her mom feels really guilty because she said that she spent most of her time on drugs and didn't spend a lot of time with her. And she feels bad about it. And I get it, but her mom can't be, I don't know. I don't know if her mom, it could be her mom's fault for not being there for her. But at the end of the day, I think it's her decision. I mean, she's the one who did this, not her mom.
I don't know if she's in Bristol, Virginia or not. I don't know if yesterday.
Who's she going to be with other than, if she's not in that car, where else she going to be?
Right.
We'll have to try.
Okay. Will's the boyfriend. The cloud.
Yeah.
So Megan Boswell went from telling detectives that Ethan had Evelyn to then telling them that her mother, Angela Boswell, had taken Evelyn in early December. The detectives don't believe a word she is saying. So they bring in Tommy Boswell to see if he can get her to say anything.
The truth stands out. You feel the truth.
I have that. Right. Okay.
You killed this wife, that wife, that wife, before you know it.
telling me what you told here. And like I told you, I'm a professional paver. Or do grade or do a driveway or a park lot or whatever, I can go.
So he says you tell this lie, that lie, that lie. Before you know it, you don't know what you've told here. And like I told them, I'm a professional paver. I can pave this driveway or this road or whatever. I can drain water. I can do whatever. That's my job. The customer ain't going to tell me how to do my job, just like I'm not going to stand here and tell this man how to do his job.
Water, I can do whatever. That's my job. The customer ain't gonna tell me how to do my job. Just like I ain't gonna stand there and tell this man how to do his job. He's a professional work dentist. And he think I know whatever.
He says he's a professional at what he does. If you think I know anything or I know or whatever, I've told you, ain't I? And I tried to help.
I told you and tried to help, absolutely. Because I know they're professionals. That's their job. And you're fooling the best. You ain't fooling. I mean, you're not gonna sit here and try to tell bullshit lies and get one over on you. That's not gonna happen.
He said because they're professionals, that's their job. And you're fooling with the best. You ain't fooling nobody. I mean, you're not going to sit here and try to tell bullshit lies and get one over on him. That's not going to happen.
I'm not lying now. Okay.
She says, I'm not lying, Dad. He says, okay.
Wherever they can find her.
I've told them everywhere where they can find him. And he says, Maggie, I mean.
If you're just going to sit here and do that, I don't want
She says, Dad, if you're just going to sit here and do that, I don't want to talk to you.
to talk to you. I'm just Dad.
The next day, Detective Matt Price and FBI agent David Gratz questioned Megan Boswell again, laying out photos and items that belong to Evelyn to see what she will do.
That is Evelyn with Santa, her first Santa. First time she had Santa, that was the same day.
She said that's Evelyn with Santa, her first Santa. First time she met Santa, and that was the same day at the Christmas party.
Same Christmas party. Okay.
The officer said, okay, so then this all comes together. They're showing her pictures and things that belong to Evelyn.
It started at 6 p.m.
It started at 6, and then the officer said, all right, well, we know she didn't have a first birthday party, really. Oh, my God. Wow.
All right, well, we know she didn't have a first birthday party, really.
No.
But, I mean,
I got her a little cake and let her smash it out in my trailer. But it was just me and her.
I wanted to point out, my wrench said, I'm almost 60 now. I was pregnant and married at 15. I could never imagine putting a man first or ever harm or allow anyone to hurt my kids. I got pregnant at 18, had my daughter at 19. And let me tell you something. At the same age she was when she gave birth to Evelyn, I was watching TLC. They have a show on there. I don't even remember the name now, but it would go through labor and delivery. So it would show some women that were like, the cameras would follow them while they were giving birth, and it would show them giving birth and the labor process and all of that. I watched it every day for like the whole time I was pregnant. It would come on at 10 and then again at 10:30. I printed out every page. You could go online, and I had this 3-inch 3-ring binder that showed what your baby was doing every single day, like growing in your body, what you were supposed to eat, the vitamins, all of the things. Went to all the doctor's appointment. I cried the first time I felt her move. It was just, I was so I adored her. It was an amazing thing to me, and I'll never understand, especially once you feel the baby move inside you. I'll never understand. Each one of my children, it's been like that. I adored them, took very good care of them from the time I was pregnant with them. It doesn't matter the age. It's the mindset, I think. I don't know. I mean, and for her to want to just change lives and do so by eliminating a child is absolutely disgusting. Yep, A Baby Story. That was the name of it. Yep. It's good to see you, my wrench. Oh, we did that yesterday, JoJo, but I do have some more to talk about on that case if we have time to talk about it today. So Megan says, it's my child's first birthday, so it'd just be me and her anyway. I'm not arranging around you all for her first birthday?
I'd be like, my to do one day, the other can do that day. I just picked every day, and I said, well, just screw it. It's my child's first birthday. I'd rather it be just me and her anyway. It's not arranging around you all the time for her first birthday.
See what? Like, I didn't care if it was just me and my daughter for her first birthday. It wasn't, but my God, I would have went to Dollar Tree and got everything. Like, I'll never understand it. Miss North said, I actually see a disturbing trend of this kind of thing, and I have too. It's sad.
Do you want to fill this stuff in?
Right now, she doesn't have a birthday party, so
Well, you did this birthday smashing thing, right?
I'll fill it out later.
Okay.
So she says she didn't have a birthday party.
What are we going to put here?
Nothing, she's not two yet.
What are you going to put?
They're asking her about a paperwork. What are we going to put here? Nothing. She's not two yet. Like, you can see the little birthday crown headband that she's got on the table. Photos of her and Evelyn that they've laid out. And she's just got no emotion, no remorse, no nothing.
Here.
Hopefully pictures of her second birthday party.
What do you want to do at her second birthday party?
I actually have a really nice birthday party. I brought balloons for her first one. I was going to make a baby shark theme, but I didn't really set all that up. But
What do you want to do to this?
I don't know.
The baby shark thing. So the picture of baby Evelyn on my thumbnail is in her outfit that she got for her birthday. She loved Baby Shark. Evelyn loved the Baby Shark song. So she had a lot of Baby Shark things. And she was found in a purple penguin onesie that I have a picture of her in. I think it might be the last picture of her, but the Baby Shark outfit was found thrown away. It's very sickening. Miss North said, actually, a worse trend is parents laughing about the homicide of their children. There's something very wrong with these people. Like, we had video games when I was young, and I mean, we didn't do these things. Like, I know we didn't have, Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto necessarily, which, is not showing any remorse for human life, but like interacting with people in general, you learn that you have to have remorse for human life. I don't know. It's just weird. Baby shark doo doo. Yeah, it gets stuck in my head too. It's good to see you, JoJo's. Her attitude is going to get her in trouble in prison. She probably has been in a couple of fights. So she wasn't a good mom before she met the guy, it sounds like to me. Well, Kate, the friend, said that she adored her and that she took care of her. A bit lazy. I think she had a diaper rash and things that she probably needed to take care of. But I don't, like, she said the baby was clean, taken care of, like that she doted on her. But it was more like an accessory for her. Evelyn was an accessory. Like, oh, look at my cute baby. Now pay attention to me. And then when the accessory wasn't an accessory anymore, she got rid of the accessory, basically. But how are we creating true psychopaths, Miss North? Like, why is there so many true psychopaths, and how are we creating them? I would love to know what you guys think about that. Forget someone asking Summer's favorite song. That was the first song that came to my mind. I don't know what Summer's favorite song was, my wrench. I would love to, though. Was it Baby Shark as well? But she couldn't have a birthday for her, right? Julie said, video games let me do things I can't do in real life. That's the point of them, not a how-to guide. Great point.
That's what I'm talking about.
You can think about it.
Take her to the park.
What park?
Warriors Path.
Megan Boswell has a really good memory when it comes to Evelyn, but when it comes to who took her and the last time she saw her daughter, the detectives point out her memory gets a little fuzzy.
Here's my point. You were all about Evelyn. You did all this stuff. You saved the bracelets. You saved the cat, the coming home outfit, Evelyn's bathtub sling. You saved his picture. You saved these little footprints. You saved the first.
So he said, exactly, here's my point. You were all about Evelyn. You did all this stuff. You saved the bracelets. You saved the caps. You saved the coming home outfit, Evelyn's bathtub slip. You saved this picture. You saved these little footprints. You saved this first Christmas something. You saved the book. You saved the trip to Ripley's picture. Can't read it upside down. Yeah, and I did the same thing. Like all my baby's bracelets and their little hats that they wore, even the blanket that the receiving blanket they send you home from with the hospital. I had that. I've got their footprints tattooed on my back. Um, I just I don't know. A couple of you guys said, Nessa said, psychopaths are born, not made through their environment. So why would you think that there's more psychopaths now than there was before? I wonder. Heather said, I think we just have more resources of proof. Kimmy said, I think the problem is girls getting pregnant but don't want the problem, but have no way to appropriately handle the situation. Interesting. I like, there's a couple good theories. That's what I was thinking when I heard was her favorite song. The first song that came to my mind was Baby Shark. Oh, okay. So I don't want to start a political debate, but some of the vaccines, what did she say? Vaccines and drugs. Like for instance, I heard that they found that there's a lot of metals in a lot of vaccines that didn't used to be there. In some of the vaccines, for instance, heavy metals were found a couple years back in baby foods and formula, and there's a lot in some of the vaccines that they give out. And heavy metals is associated with autism. And if you look at autism today, it's like a much larger number of children are diagnosed with autism. And so some people have related it to vaccines and the heavy metals in the vaccines that the children are given at birth. There's been instances where people have said my child was not autistic. They got vaccines and then all of a sudden they weren't looking at me. They weren't smiling anymore. And they seem to be autistic, whereas they were smiling before. Now, I don't want to start a political debate. It could be that. It could be that we have more resources now and it's more known, more studied, and more identifiable. I don't know. But I think that's what she was referring to with the vaccines, things like that. Okay, I was reading some of y'all's comments. I mean, girls used to be 14 or 15 having kids. They didn't laugh while talking about homiciding their children. Yeah, it's like society has changed. I think there's just more mental health awareness than before, and that could be true. Addie V, good to see you. Associated before current times, it took a village, and there were parents and aunties and neighbors, and I think people could spot a crisis or a shortcoming and were there to help. That's another great point. That is another great point, and thank you for being here, Addie. Julie said it's a neurotype. It's the way the brain is wired. That's true, too.
Christmas, you saved this book. You saved the trip to Ripley's picture. Can't read upside down. The bracelet from the ear infection. You saved that. This came from the baby box. Her first shoes. You saved all that. You got this from the first birthday party. Evelyn's 1-year birthday shirt worn for 3 days. You can sit here and tell me you know she wore those for 3 days. What 3 days were those?
The 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd of November.
Of November. You know that right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because you loved Evelyn, right?
I do love it.
You love Evelyn.
I just want to clarify just so it doesn't sound bad. She didn't wear that shirt for 3 days straight. I washed it every night.
I understand what you mean.
Okay.
You made a trip.
So she just said something about she didn't wear that shirt for 3 days straight. She washed it. I washed it every night. Hold on. I'm going to read y'all what this said because we were talking. Hannah said respectfully she disagrees about the vaccines, and I did want to point out that it's just a theory. It hasn't been proven or anything. It's just something that I heard, and I could have misheard it. I don't want to make anybody upset. So after what I just read, he said, because you loved Evelyn, right? Megan said, I just want to clarify just so it doesn't sound bad. She didn't wear that shirt for 3 days straight. I washed it every night.
I understand what you mean.
Okay.
He said, I understand what you mean. She said, okay.
You made a trip all the way to El Paso for her to see her dad.
You made a trip all the way to El Paso for her to see her dad. You drove, right? Did you do that for yourself or Evelyn?
You drove, right? Did you do that for yourself or for Evelyn?
For Evelyn.
All right, look at all these pictures.
She said for Evelyn.
You're taking over. You're so happy with her, right? You saved the Speedway and lights. It stops December 20th. A minute ago, you started.
So he's making a good point. He said, all right, look at all these pictures. You're taking over. You're so happy with her, right? You saved the Speedway and lights. It stops December 20th. A minute ago, you started crying on December the 20th. What happened December the 20th?
I'm crying on December the 20th. What happened December the 20th?
No, probably on the 21st.
Okay.
Because that was the day she would have been a year and 1 month old and won't have her.
Okay.
I didn't have her with me.
On
That was
December,
sad.
on December 21st, you were upset because you didn't have Evelyn with you. What efforts did you take on that day to go find Evelyn?
So she's upset she didn't have her December 20th. What efforts are you taking to go find Evelyn? I did want to talk about some of you guys' comments because I know a lot of you had a lot to say. Nessa said CPTSD and autism can look very similar. As for attention deficit, maybe parents do not give their babies or children enough attention due to the internet. That's very true. A lot of times children are handed a device because it is easier to just give them a device and let them watch YouTube videos. But it's been pointed out that when you have technology like that and they can just go from this video to that video to this video to that video and it's just all bright lights and blaring in your face at the speed of light, it can cause like attention deficit disorder. There's been a correlation supposedly. Julianne said the reason before the 70s you didn't see autistic people is because they were locked up, chained to radiators, or in mental homes. It's probably true. I like heavy metal too, but not that kind. I think it's been going on all along, but we didn't have the internet to find out. Autism is fairly new. They used to be in mental asylums. They need them again. Oh, for the psychopaths that hurt their babies, yeah. ADHD is also a neurotype, nothing to do with neglect. Really? I'm going to look into that, the correlation between ADHD and brain function, because I mean, getting a little personal, Mr. Speculating has ADHD. It's very prominent in him and my bonus children, whereas my children, they don't have ADHD. So, but one of my children is kind of hyperactive. I don't know. That's something I want to look into because it affects me specifically and my family. So I'm gonna look into the brain pathways and see about the neurotype. And thank you for the comment. Miss Rich said, "Don't want to get political, and I don't agree with doing it. But when they're forcing women to have children, they don't want to begin with. We're gonna have a lot more of this. I wish that women would be educated on if abortion is not legal in their state. There's always the option to have the baby and give it up for adoption. However, I think that you should have the ability to do that if that's something you want to do up until a specific month. If the baby is viable outside of the womb, I don't think you should be able to abort it." Jojo said, "Do you think part of it could be all the technology nowadays, whether it be thoughts about radiation or social media or just more awareness that it is happening?" A correlation of all of the things, I think. The ability to get technology so fast at the speed of light and being exposed to it, I think all of the things correlates. That's what I think personally. Hannah said, "My theory on psychopaths is 1, we understand them more now. 2, population increase. There isn't more per population, just more because of a larger population." That's a good point. I have ADHD and not at all neglectful of anything in my life. Yeah, I don't think it would mean necessarily that ADHD makes you neglectful. But I'm wondering, like, there's just a lot that I don't understand about why we're learning, why it's so much more, it's happening so much more frequently. And it would be interesting to take a poll of somebody who doesn't watch a lot of true crime cases, somebody who's not in the true crime sector on YouTube or on the internet or whatever, and ask them if they think that there is an uptick in people hurting their children or psychopaths, somebody who's not watching the news daily and doesn't know about these cases. And it would be interesting to know if they notice it or if it's just something we notice because we are in the true crime sector and look into these cases. All right, Megan said here, "I went to my grandparents' house. She was not there. I tried to contact my mom, couldn't get a hold of her. I actually rode around for a little bit trying to find my mom or Will because this is when I still have my something.
I went to my grandparents' house. She was not there. I tried to contact my mom, couldn't get a hold of her, and I actually rode around for a bit trying to find my mom or Will, place where they would be, because this is when I still had my rent cruise. But when the cruise got taken, when I go to court January 9th for that ticket, right? Our cruise got taken on the same day from court, so I still had it on that point in time. So I rode around trying to find mom.
Okay. So you're saying
I had planned the trip to the Caribbean like pre ahead, and her was like, "Oh well, we'll go."
So you did all that on the same day. You all drove from this area all the way down to Gatlinburg. How long does that take?
An hour and a half. Hunter drove, and Hunter speed's really bad. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You're saying that's a 1 hour trip?
Yeah.
The detectives turn up the heat on Megan Boswell, but they can't shake her.
Hey, I just want to let y'all know it's like 3:41 here. I'm going to schedule the other live stream for tomorrow because I feel like we're having a good conversation. We can keep this one going, and there's quite a bit I want to talk about in that. So I think I'm going to just we'll do it tomorrow, and that'll give me some more time to get some more stuff together as well. So I'm going to edit that and change it back to 1:30 p.m. for tomorrow. I just wanted y'all to know. And that'll give me more time to get some stuff together. But I did get the paperwork on Giovanni Pelleter, the boy who went down to Florida from North Carolina, from a town very close to where I grew up, and was riding with his cousins. And then evidently they smoked some weed. He got out of the car, ran, and was found deceased in a retention pond. It was all kind of weird. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. I did see the movie Idiocracy. I feel like we're getting closer and closer to that movie coming true, unfortunately. I do too. Kim said, I have ADHD, not fully controlled. My brain is 100% wired differently than a lot of society. I perceive differently than a lot. I reason differently also. You know, I've noticed that too. With the children, they'll see things in a different way. They have different it's like, yeah, like their brains are wired different. For example, that my youngest bonus child, I sometimes trying to do schoolwork with her, she gets frustrated, and then by proxy, I get frustrated, and I've been working on that, trying to get her to understand, but it's just she's not interested, and I need to try to find better ways to make her interested. However, if I go on a walk in the woods or I'm talking about medicinal plants, she's amazing. She can tell me like what kind of tree this is, what kind of plant this is, why it's medicinal, how you use it to make a salve or a poultice or whatever. It's interesting to see the differences. There's zero testing on children, yet parents can take all sorts of med with zero evidence. It does not affect your unborn child's brain function. Some medications they don't want you to take. I wasn't, they advised me not to take any mental health medication when I was on medication for bipolar when I was pregnant with my daughter, and I didn't, but I had really bad mood swings. There are a lot of drugs not given to pregnancy due to, yeah, there's a lot they don't want you to take. And hedonia is a new diagnosis, and I think that's what's wrong with a lot of this new generation. They have to have constant dopamine hit by moving on, self-gratification. That's very true. And that was another thing they talked about with like the access to the internet and YouTube. It's a constant dopamine hit with the videos. Like you can just pick from what you want and the lights and all of that. And then social media, making a video and it goes viral. It's a constant dopamine hit. And when somebody comes in, like if you make a YouTube channel like I have, and then people are in your chat, it's a constant dopamine hit because you feel like you're liked, you're appreciated, you're understood. Yeah, I agree. I don't understand women that kill their children. When I was young, I gave up my daughter for adoption because I couldn't give her a life she needed, and it was hard. But I gave her a better life because I love her. And that's amazing, Edith. That's a very hard thing to do. And the fact that you put her before your own feelings and all of that is amazing. And I commend you for that. And I wish that some of these women would do that instead of hurting their children. Yeah. It's changing my thank goodness I have a few understanding friends. I'm glad. Back then, I was a problem child and drugged for 7 years on Valium. They knew nothing about that. I'm so sorry, Kim. I'm so sorry. That was when they called people not indigent or something. I remember watching what was it? The Leatherface movie, the original Leatherface movie, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. Her brother, there was a girl in there, and her brother was in a wheelchair, and they called him, I think it was indigent, but basically they said he was stupid because he was in a wheelchair, and I was like, what? But it was the time period of that movie. I'll have to look it up so I can show y'all.
Know why I think you ain't been out looking for Evelyn? Well, it's two things. We're kind of one and the same. You know where she is, okay?
I don't know exactly where she is.
Or you know she's dead.
No.
Now's the time to talk. Is Evelyn dead?
Not that I know of, unless Mom has done something. I would never hurt her. She was my.
See, she's looking him straight in the eye when he said, "Is Evelyn dead?" Watch her look. Look at her. Look at that look on her face, trying to look like she's innocent. Oh my God.
Time to talk. Is Evelyn dead?
Not that I know of, unless Mom has done something. I would never hurt her. She was my daughter.
Okay. You're not out here doing all that you can to find your daughter. It's two reasons. You know where she is or she's dead. And another thing, some of this is bullshit that you're saying right here. Say you can't find Mom and she won't tell you where she's at. You're not looking for her, but you just, after all this, you're with her, right? You, Hunter, and your mom go to the Lone Rock, North Carolina, and you said this receipts from where you and your mom and Hunter were there. So where's Evelyn there?
I don't know. Mom didn't tell me.
Where is she?
Mom would not tell me. I told her.
So you went along with her?
Look at how she's looking in their eyes, and they're calling her on her bullshit. I'm glad that you're okay, Kim. You didn't deserve that. Athena said that's how they handled everything. They didn't understand. They did. I can't remember the word they used, but it was like really like offensive. I was like, why did they say just because he was in a wheelchair? I was like, what the fuck? I'm going to find it.
You went with your mother on a trip to Blowing Rock to go pass around, and your little girl, you don't know where she's at. Is that what you want me to believe?
I'm being honest.
That's not what I asked. You went, you've got detail after detail after detail after detail of this little girl. Her whole entire life. Basically, daily, you can tell us specifically to the day, to the hour of what was going on in your child's life until here. Look at me. Is everyone ever going to get to wear this?
Yes. Unless she's a fit in it. It's 18 months.
You know what I'm asking?
Yes.
Jurors saw some really awful things. I already showed you the trash can where Evelyn's body was found. They also saw the fleece onesie she was dressed in and her blanket. And they saw her stroller stored in a shed, never to be used again. Then the jurors heard testimony about Evelyn's cause of death.
Dr. Schmidt, did you form an opinion as to the cause and manner of death of Evelyn Boswell?
Yes.
Okay. What is your opinion?
The cause of death, homicidal violence.
Okay. And can you explain that for the jury? What did you base that finding on?
I based it on the autopsy findings, the investigative summary, the investigators that went to the scene. And
it was really hard to hear from her about Evelyn and everything going on. After this, I'll show you guys the part because I found the quote that they used to introduce him in that movie. JoJo said, I used to actually feel bad for her when I found out about her childhood, but after the sentencing trial today, when she was allocated, I lost all sympathy for her that I did have. I get that she had a bad childhood. Her mother was on drugs and in and out of jail and all of that, but it seems like she was very much taken care of. I think her dad felt kind of guilty about it. She was given everything. He made her own playhouse. She was very well taken care of. She got her own house from her dad, her own little apartment, or not apartment, but a trailer that she didn't take care of. I mean, and the problem was she saw Evelyn as an accessory. And when the accessory was no longer fun, in my opinion, she got rid of her. We're going to talk about it because I found the quote.
and law enforcement investigation.
Okay. Hypothetically, if Evelyn was alive when she was placed in the trash can, is positional asphyxiation likely?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell the jury what positional asphyxiation is?
It's
Me
your
too.
body's in a position that compromises your breathing.
Right.
And were you aware was how Evelyn's body was placed into the trash can? Do you recall?
Yes.
Okay. And
I'm sorry, Kimmy.
when you say positional, are you referencing the fact that she was upside down?
Yes, the body was in the trash can upside down.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been pre-marked as exhibit number 34. Pre-admitted as exhibit number 34.
So I can't remember, but I think they couldn't quite determine if she asphyxiated in the trash can or not, but she choked. She had fibers from the blanket that was wrapped around her in her mouth, and she was wrapped really tightly in the blanket. And then there was aluminum foil. I think it was just on her head. And again, that goes back to Ethan with the schizophrenia wearing aluminum foil on his head.
Okay. Okay. So hypothetically,
Yes, I think
if a
so.
blanket is pulled up over the face of a child who's then placed into a trash can upside down, could the blanket itself cause some type of asphyxiation?
Yes.
Okay. What about the trash bag that Evelyn's body was in? Could the trash bag itself cause some type of asphyxiation?
Yes, if it covered the airways, the nose and the mouth.
Okay.
The defense challenged the opinion of forensic pathologist Matrina Schmidt.
So,
Yeah, her defense attorney did a good job representing her. He tried to get it thrown out, just like the bathtub homicide trial. Vanessa Morales. They do good jobs representing their clients, but I think he felt she really should be let off of the crime because she was so young. Like, I think he got a little too invested in this crime, in this defendant, in my opinion.
When you describe this death as homicidal violence, you describe that as based on the child being found in the trash can. Is that correct?
And the investigation, yes.
Okay, but not your medical findings.
Yes, my medical findings.
Yeah.
In addition.
There were no findings of violence in your autopsy, were there?
Yes, the decedent was found upside down in the trash can.
Okay. Were there any broken bones?
No.
Okay.
So she's saying homicidal violence because she put her upside down in the trash can, which, if you want to be technical, there is technically not violence because, again, there's no broken bones, there's no blood, but the act in itself is homicidal and violent, in my opinion. She did a really good job, and I did appreciate the way she looked at the jury and talked to them, and she explained everything to where we could all understand it. She was a great witness for the state.
At this point, soft tissue, it was hard to determine any kind of damage to soft tissue. Is that fair?
That's correct.
Okay. So there were no medical findings of violence in your report, was there?
Yes, the decedent was found upside down in the trash can. I'm sorry.
I'm asking.
There was several sidebars in the trial. Man, that case was crazy. Oh, Indy. I'm sorry, love. Yeah, thank you, my wrench. They were.
Doctor, let's make sure we're on the same page. I'm asking about medical causes that you would find in the autopsy. Now, being placed in a trash can, are you describing that as a medical cause?
No.
So medical causes and medical diagnosis that you have, there's no medical issue showing this is a homicidal violence, is there?
No.
And you can't say that the child was dead or alive when it went in the trash can you?
That's correct.
I already told you that the jury found Megan Boswell guilty. Then it
Okay, so we'll go over here real quick. What I was talking about when they described her brother enters the scene. This again is going to be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974, the original. Okay, and her brother enters the scene. It reads, in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Frank Hardesty is portrayed by Paul A. Parton, and he is the wheelchair-bound brother of Sally Hardesty. He is introduced as an indigent character who suffers from paralysis and is a significant part of the film's narrative. Frank's character is depicted as a victim of the Sawyer family's cannibalistic tendencies, and his wheelchair is seen in various scenes, highlighting his disability and the impact it had on the story. The film explores themes of disability and the horror experienced by those who are unable to escape the violence around them. But the point was, he is introduced as indigent only because he's in a wheelchair and suffers paralysis in his legs. But another thing, speaking of indigent, when you go to court, even to this very day, and you ask for the court to represent you, an attorney, like to get a court-appointed attorney, you have to fill out paperwork that says that you are indigent. Which, I mean, I don't know. That word is just, I don't like it.
It was time for the jury to consider her sentence. Her lawyer is asking that she one day be eligible for parole.
Ladies and gentlemen, although I may not agree with your verdict, I respect your verdict. I respect you. I thank you for your time. And I have one more thing to ask you. You have to make a decision now, and that decision is it's going to mean the difference. If you sentence Megan Boswell to life in prison, she'll be released when she is probably 69 years old. That'll be 8. She's been in jail. You probably realize she has been in jail since she was 18 years old. She went to jail February 25th of 2020, and she hasn't been released.
And today they basically made it definitive that she's not going to be released at the age of 69. So the definition of indigent is poor or needy. But when you hear, for some reason it stood out to me as meaning like ignorant, basically, is what I thought it meant. And so it was difficult for me to hear them describe him as indigent. Like, I don't know, you wouldn't describe a person in a wheelchair today as indigent out in public. It's kind of the way I looked at it. But the definition doesn't mean poor or needy. So like in a courtroom, when you're asking for the court to appoint you to an attorney, I could see them using it. But you wouldn't look at somebody in a wheelchair out in public or at the Walmart or whatever and be like, oh, you're indigent, because it would be offensive. Do you know what I mean? And today, going back to this, and I won't sidebar anymore, it was determined today that she will not be released at the age of 69 or be eligible for parole.
So with that said, if you give her a life sentence, it would be 51 years. That's what I'm asking you to do. If you give her a life without sentence, she will never be released from prison. That's the difference. So it would be the difference between her being released at what I believe would be 69 to 70 years old or never being released.
The defense called Megan Boswell's mother, Angela, to testify.
Let's talk about Megan's life growing up. Would it be fair to say that during her lifetime, she's witnessed drug use between you and her father?
Yes.
What type of drugs?
Here you can see how upset and just devastated her mother was.
Opiates, mainly.
Scoot up or speak into that so the jury can hear you.
Opiates, mainly.
Okay. Really?
Did that drug use lead to other problems?
Yeah. Arguments, fighting, yes.
Okay. You say there
strife.
Strife
is what it brings, yes. Non-stop.
Is that something that went on pretty much her entire childhood
Yeah.
growing up?
Yeah, from the time she was pretty little, yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Now, did she witness fights between you and her father?
Yes.
Hannah.
Okay. I think at some point her father was convicted of aggravated assault and kidnapping.
Yes.
Were you the victim in that?
Yes.
These problems, do you feel that it's partly your fault, the problems Megan's experienced?
No, absolutely. Yes.
Megan Boswell wiped away tears after her mother testified, and then her foster mother, Gail Kite, testified.
She was in bad shape. She was one of the worst children that I'd brought in as far as neglect.
Yes,
What do you mean by that?
She was very malnourished. She's very skinny. Her
So this foster mother, Megan came to stay with her while she was pregnant with Evelyn. Megan was still a juvenile when she got pregnant with Evelyn, and she went to stay with this foster mother. JoJo said, we all learn from Drummond, when someone goes in at a young age and spends a lot of time in prison, if they get out, it tends to not end well. Well, I don't want to say that for everybody, but yeah, it's not good. And it was her mother that was arrested after court, Miss King, on a warrant.
hair was matted to her head with lice. Impossible to even get a comb through.
Okay. Well,
Now, she's talking about Megan at the age of 17. Her hair was matted to her head with lice, impossible to get a comb through, and she was pregnant.
well, when she came to you, were you given any background? I imagine in foster care, you're given background or information of where this child is coming from. Were you giving any of that?
I was.
And what were you preparing for?
In the intake papers, it mentioned trauma. It mentioned rape.
Did it give you any background or any information about her family background or makeup?
Not really.
Okay. Now, you said she came to you with lice. What did you do to try to help Megan?
Well, I took her to a beauty shop because there was no way to even begin to get a comb through. It was horrible. The beauty shop wouldn't touch it. They told me I offered to pay him $100 to go out back to cut her hair. And they said that they couldn't do it. Finally, the agency that we were with found a beautician that met me at a church that was willing to come in and give Megan a haircut. They gave her a bob, which looked really cute on her. But even after that we could get a comb through, it took close to 3 weeks, maybe a month, to get rid of the lice. Were just so bad. I had to get prescription medicine from the doctor. We got 2 bottles of that. I bought the comb that you run through that's supposed to kill the lice. And I know
Just hearing her talk is making me scratch my head. Mary P., nice to see you. Said, we've been forecasting an uptake in all types of abuse since March of 2020, the COVID lockdown. In fact, knowing kids would lose their out of school. Yeah, that's true. I've noticed it has been worse since the COVID lockdown. Heather said, this didn't make me feel bad for Megan because nobody deserves that. No baby deserves that. And I agree. That was sad. Well, it is, but it was brought to light because of the case. I think her defense attorney called the foster mother in to basically give us an idea, because I don't know. I think the guy that she said was Megan's father was not, the guy that she said that was Evelyn's father was not Evelyn's father. And I don't remember if we found out who the father was at not, but they said they knew. I can't remember if they said it at the end of the trial or not. I remember we were trying to find out, and I don't remember if we found out who it was. Lorianne said this woman was probably the little bit of normalcy as she had, just not long enough. Yeah, it was, she got her at the, when she was 17, about to age out is when they put her there. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I moved up north with my boyfriend at the age of 17 into an apartment in Boston from North Carolina. Mary P said in-school caregivers in school has been a train we're waiting for or witnessing since we had to shut society down to stop the virus. Yeah. She was placed with this woman much sooner. Maybe Megan would have turned out differently. I agree. Wow, that's amazing, Heather. Y'all are amazing. Those of you all who were able to go out and make it at such a young age.
Practically traumatized the poor child because we'd go out on the porch and I'd run that comb through trying to make sure we got all the lice, and she'd sit there and tears would run down her hair. She got tired of me. It wasn't a pleasant situation. And then
the jury wasn't out long. The district attorney wanted a sentence of life without the possibility of parole, but the jury showed Megan Boswell some mercy and grace.
All right. Ms. Boswell, in count 1, the jury of your peers having set your punishment, you'll be sentenced to life imprisonment. In count 2, you'll be sentenced to life imprisonment.
Megan Boswell will be sentenced in May. It's possible the judge could add more time onto her sentence, which could extend any parole eligibility date.
And that was what we heard today, which basically it made it to where she's not going to be able to parole at the age of 69. So that's that. And I did add this video to the end of the Megan Boswell trial playlist. I do have it on my page if you guys want to go look through. We watch the trial every day. I'm shocked that it was allowed as well. I just can't believe that it was that bad. And lice is a nightmare for any child. When my kids were in public school, they had it. And I remember the girls just putting a shower curtain. We'd go to the Dollar Tree and get a shower curtain for $1, and I'd set it on the floor, and then I'd get they have like these plastic pillows. I can't even remember where you get them from, but it's like a plastic pillow, and I'd have them lay on the shower curtain on the pillow, and I'd sit there and run that comb through their hair with a wet paper towel and a Ziploc bag, and it's a horrible, traumatic situation for anybody. Hey, JDR. JDR said, oh my God, she's too much. I realized she had a sad life, but there is no excuse. If she wanted a boyfriend that bad, she could give the baby up for adoption. Some people never think about the future. I agree with that. I do. Hey, Carolina, good to see you. Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to go back home shortly after as well. I do have a couple of other things to discuss with y'all real quick, just some articles and things that I found. Firstly, this article, get my timestamp, is unseen photos of BrYan Kohberger. I think it said his apartment. I thought we could look at this real quick. So this is pictures inside of BrYan's apartment. Now, I didn't follow the Idaho 4 case very much. I've actually, Sandra, the sweetheart that she is, has put several documents from the BrYan Kohberger case on the drive, and I haven't put those on my Patreon. If anybody's interested in the Kohberger documents, let me know, and I will put them on the Patreon if you guys are interested in that. From what I understand, or like the thumbnails I've been seeing, it seems to me like he had some kind of apartment at the school or something. I don't know. You guys probably know more about it than I do. All right, so we'll watch this real quick.
Birthday cards for BrYan Kohberger, dated just a week after the murders.
I don't know why it's so
along
low.
with school assignments and text messages, all indicators that his life after butchering those 4 innocent kids went on as completely normal.
That's amazing.
Like it never even happened. Completely disassociated from the horrors and the trauma and the excruciating sadness that he caused everyone else. Each picture that's just been released is yet another piece in this bizarre puzzle, another clue in the mystery as to why this heinous crime happened, which he chose, right, to do, and why he chose to perpetrate such evil. By the way, one of the newly released police reports actually refers to this show and this network, News Nation. As it turns out, a person living 15 miles from Moscow, Idaho, told the police that somebody matching this whole Kohberger description stopped in her driveway, got out, looked around at about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. Problem is, it's an unspecified date, but it is between the murders and Kohberger's arrest. Don't know if it was the night of the murders.
How interesting. Somebody matching his description got out in her driveway, looked around, and then I'm assuming got back in and left. People are asking why he committed these homicides. I don't think that there is an answer. I think that, like people in the past that have done horrendous things like this, he wanted to see if he could do it and get away with it. I think that's all it was. He wanted to feel something. I don't think he ever felt anything in his whole life, and he wanted to commit the ultimate act of violence to see if he felt anything, to see if he could do it and get away with it, to see if he felt anything. And unfortunately, the lives of 4 beautiful students, 4 beautiful souls were taken. It's very sad.
But the witness said that she, an elderly woman, knew about the quote,
Oh, you're good.
guy and the car.
Thank you.
And when the police asked, quote, where did this information come from? The witness answered, quote, I believe it was on News Nation, possibly Banfield.
Wait a minute. Let me back that up a little bit. So you said he was in an apartment on the college. Thank you. Oh, the college campus. College apartment. Yes. Okay. Thank you. I thought that was weird. Like he has an apartment at the college, like at the actual college or something, or like in an office or something. Something weird. It seemed to me. I could be wrong.
I and the car. And when the police asked, quote, where did this information come from? The witness answered, quote, I believe it was on News Nation, possibly Banfield. There was no further documentation to suggest that the driver that night was in fact Kohberger
Oh,
in
wow.
his infamous white Elantra. But let's move to those photos, okay, that were released. 699 photos to be exact, that for almost 3 years have been under seal, under a gag order. We have chosen some of the highlights because, 699, I couldn't do it in the hour. They're photos of BrYan Kohberger's kitchen, his bedroom, his living room, his bathroom, his bare bones and frankly grim student apartment in Pullman, Washington. Police photographed the contents, even of his refrigerator and freezer. And it turns out, yeah, he was definitely a vegan before demanding that he got vegan meals when he was booked into the Moscow jail. But if you're used to scanning Zillow listings, my friends, this is that times 1,000. And it's 1,000 times more creepy, knowing who lived there and what he was planning to do while in that apartment.
That's interesting. I heard that a lot of photos were dropped, but I didn't know they were of the apartment. If the apartment was bare bones and not really a lot in it, I don't understand how there's 699 photos. I mean, what did we do? Like move the camera a millimeter and take another photo throughout the whole apartment? That's interesting.
The plans he was making. So let me take you inside the front door and the balcony. You walk in and there's this purple Swiffer just off to the left there and a beige carpet that has certainly seen better days, but relatively clean, worn around the edges, but I think he vacuumed everything multiple times. There's the porch, whatever. Here's his freezer. It is jammed with like prepared foods, all vegan.
Yeah.
Lots of meatless pizzas and vegan Thai food. In the fridge, there's soy milk and tofu and plant.
Oh, hold on. This is a article. Okay.
Hummus, and there's a whole mess of onion skins down there in the crisper. He's not the most tidy fella, but you can see it's pretty Spartan, and none of it is meat. In the living room, there is one very small couch. You can just see the corner of it there. And there's
Well, we know that he wasn't having any friends over, so, you know, that one very small couch was enough for him. He's very, very clean for a guy, like OCD, like you guys have pointed out and said through the videos and things that we've heard. It seems very OCD to me. Even you see these little fringes on the carpet, like they're even facing the way that they're supposed to be for the carpet. You know what I mean? Like these are all facing this way. Those are facing that way. These ones over here are facing towards the couch. Like he vacuums in the direction that they're supposed to face. Like that's weird to see for me, like comparing to my brother or any man that I know, that there would be soda bottles and dirty plates and dishes and just a mess. Just a mess where they don't dirty clothes all over the floor. This is immaculate. And what is that coffee table? Like you can fold it up. Why? I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I get that, like I said, he wasn't going to have anybody over because he didn't have any friends, but it's still odd. Very odd.
One small rug, small coffee table there, like bar 10, one little pillow. Guess he didn't have any guests, which I guess is not surprising. No decorations. Look, the walls are just bare.
I can't do that.
Games or DVDs or like guy stuff, right?
So what was he doing in there?
Bedroom closet that has his shirt still sitting there on the hangers, short.
Now these are not put up in an OCD type manner. They're very wrinkly and not clean.
Sleeve
looking
polo type shirts, right? There are a stack of like freshly folded white towels. There's a laptop box over there in the closet. He also bought a Fire Stick, which is expensive, and he left his monitor behind. And the bedding was there. Like this guy, look, this is me.
He's got a little table in the corner that has white towels on it, like a hotel or something. And what is that Nitro 5? Is that what she's referencing as a Fire Stick? They were color coded. Hey, Wolfpack. When I was at school, we had a night nurse inspect us. Really? So, yeah, I've never been to college. I wish I had. I've done some college classes, but they were at a community college. It wasn't like we stayed there. So there was like somebody who walked around and inspected everything. That's interesting. Oh, Edith, I'm so sorry. Wolfpack said I'm OCD and his apartment would drive me nuts, except for the freezer shelves. Really? Interesting. He had a few monitors and expensive equipment. I mean, that makes sense. Laptop, I think. I'm going to look it up.
Talking, but I think this guy was coming back. I don't think this guy pulled out and thought, I'm out of here. I'm getting back to Pennsylvania. They're hot on my trail. No, I think this guy was coming back to this rotten little apartment with his rotten little things and his not even rotting food. I think he planned to come back. If you go into his bedroom, you can see like the full mattress with a frame, right? Again, no decorations, but his bedding is all there. There's the monitor you see there and the Fire Stick.
So, yeah, I mean, it's very dull. So it says the Acer Nitro 5 is a budget gaming laptop that offers decent performance for its price. It features a 15.6-inch screen, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and a 12th generation Intel Core processor, making it suitable for gaming and everyday computing tasks. I wonder how much, $900 right now. Interesting. Here it is.
That he bought. He's got a laundry basket there that he had purchased. All his bedding still intact, right?
You think so, Miss
Again,
Thorne?
if you're leaving for good, maybe you take your parking tickets with you, maybe you wouldn't. But 7 of them there. 7 parking tickets. Student papers, all sorts of papers all over the place. Not sure if he...
Lord have mercy. So it says it'll play after ad. Julie said this was after he left for Pennsylvania. Was he supposed to leave everything there? He left some things hoping he was coming back.
There's the one that got an 80. Or if he was the one doing like, was he grading them or was he getting graded? But there's lots of writing in the margins. And
that looks like his handwriting. So I would say he's doing the grading. He probably was hoping he was coming back, but yeah, not sure. Not indicative of true OCD. I agree, Hio. That's $3 grand, not too pricey for gaming. Oh, wow. That's crazy. The unorganized papers and closet and cabinet and those towels. Right, Wolfpack. It's odd for me. I mean, everything about BrYan Kohberger is odd in general, but like this is even odder.
There's lots of teacher correction notes. There's another paper that had an 87. I love some of the notes, though. I've seen his handwriting, and it's a total mess, like a 5-year-old. But the ones that have the corrections are written quite nicely, actually, and they're scathing. Like, dude, answer the effing question. You're all over the place. Like, you're making a good reason here, but you're not answering the question. Doesn't that speak to BrYan Kohberger? He's so pompous. He does what he wants, right? And the teachers are saying it. Like, just answer the question that we gave you, smart ass. Also, this was weird, seeing birthday cards. Looked like this one was definitely from mom or dad. My guess is maybe mom. It says, a son leaves your home, but never your heart. He discovers his own happiness, which in turn becomes yours.
Okay, well, talking about the cards from his parents, I think that they were very proud of him. I mean, he seemed to be doing good in school, and considering that he was probably very odd at home, they might have been concerned about him in general, and they wanted to keep him, happy as any parent would, and let them know they were proud of him. And I think they were, because he appeared to be doing so good at school. Wolfpack said, I can't see him touching the dust on the desk. Dust on the desk. And I agree. I don't know. When it comes to like cards from parents, I feel like we might be crossing boundary. I mean, I think his parents were proud of him and had no idea that he was going to do this. I think it was only the sister that had questions after she found out.
To that, I cry bullshit, because I think Mr. and Mrs. Kohberger are not finding the same happiness that Kohberger seemed to find. I think they have been plunged into a life of misery by this little horror show.
I mean, I agree with
It's
that.
actually redacted, so I can't show you what's inside. The police are keeping the privacy of the people who sent. But there were birthday cards sent from at least one other person. This was his 28th birthday. It was 8 days after the murders that these cards were dated. Happy birthday, BrYan. And then on a card, it's upside down, but it says, BrYan did not lick this because #COVID. So somebody seems to.
That seems like a young person, maybe a cousin or something. Hey, Orange, good to see you. Kate said OCD comes in different forms, though not everyone is organized. Some people just have habits that are odd, and they have to do like walk in a room and flip the switch 3 times or something else. I've seen that. And that's indicative of what I know to be OCD. Mama Mia said, so funny every time I'm live with allegedly my phone dies. Oh, I'm sorry, Mama Mia. Touche, Kate, but he references organization to his OCD. I had heard, but it's pure speculation on my part. I've heard that he was OCD, but it is speculation, I do believe. All right, have a good day, JoJo. World of Warcraft and Sims. I just kept on typing. He probably owed 60 to 90,000 for his education because he wasn't friendly. He saved a lot of money on travel and vacations. True. I could see that.
In his good graces. Maybe it's his sisters. I don't know. I just can't imagine any friends of his writing to him like this. Maybe it was a student that was trying to get better grades. Who knows? He had a card that was Teddy Roosevelt riding a dinosaur. And the person who sent it to him, see, he had it standing up like this is his proudest possession. The handwriting there says, both of your egos, pointing.
Wow. Both of your egos. You are a dino and a professor, LMAO, and the card reads, speak softly and carry a big stick. Unless you can ride a dinosaur, then do that instead. Theodore Roosevelt, U.S. President.
To the alligator-style dinosaur and Teddy Roosevelt. It says, you are a dino and professor, LMAO, which means laughing my ass off. Inside the card, it's addressed to BrYan.
Well, thank you, Mama.
BrYan, almost.
Lord have mercy.
3 hours to land a new tagline.
Well, that sounds like your problem, not freaking mine. So you figure it out and deal with it. And I'm going to continue to try to watch these photos of BrYan Kohbergers' apartment that I was trying to do before you busted in here with your ad.
Look at the date, 11/21/2022. I don't know. Looks to me like female handwriting, but I could be wrong. Squiggly
does.
lines, lots of designs on the cards and stuff on the envelope. So take that for what you will. He also had a few paychecks that were sitting there. The police lined them all up, took pictures of them. 2 checks were for $1,001, and 2 checks were for $842. They were from Washington State University, presumably for his work as a teaching assistant. But, clearly he was getting things that weren't as laudatory. He had an improvement plan, which the police photographed. It was sitting there, dated November 2nd. So, just 11 days before the murders, November 2nd, 2022. They sent this improvement plan to him, basically saying shape up or ship out. And the list of goals there: meet weekly with supervisor at established meeting time, and keep track of weekly hours, and establish weekly goals, and make sure weekly goals are progressively harder. He left it behind. He didn't take it with him, but my guess is he planned to come back and
Make sure weekly goals are progressively harder to ensure progress throughout the rest of this semester. And we've heard about this, the college or him getting reprimanded for something. I remember hearing about that. Miss North said, I agree. I don't think the parents knew, but the sister was a psychology major as well, correct? I think I'm not sure. I haven't looked much into the sisters. If you've heard that, you probably know more than me, so you're probably right. She may have seen him for what he really was, maybe saw glimpses behind the mask. If you ever really want to know about a person, I agree with that. Like, talk to their siblings, because their siblings are going to know them better than their parents. Best book on OCD is Brian Locke. Interesting. Jekyll and Hyde. Yes, that has been used to describe him a lot. Hio said, I will look that up. We've never had enough references and room to learn. Thank you so much. Oh, y'all are so sweet. His sister does look like him.
show them who was boss, if you know BrYan Kohberger. Also, do you remember reading in the warrants that they had seized pillows and bedding that had brownish reddish stains that we all thought might have been blood? Well, we now have pictures of it. They're all marked with evidence markers, and they are little brownish reddish stains. They do look like blood.
They do.
They proved to not be evidentiary. So it proved not to be the blood of any of the victims in this apartment. They found nothing in this apartment of evidentiary value to the murders.
Interesting.
But I'm going to creep you out a little here just because, well, I got creeped out and I'm sharing it. The pictures in his bathroom. I could not help but look at the shower. They don't take the same picture that he took, but you can see the bathtub there with the shower.
Yeah, you guys remember where he's doing the thumbs up? That's his apartment. That's where that picture was taken. Interesting. Hey, Nanny Goat. Yeah, BK, I don't cover him a lot because I didn't really get into it. It's a little boring to me as well. But I figured, how I like to do the little articles at the end of the stream. And I figured we'd watch this video because it is a very popular case. I didn't really get into it either. And I get why some of you might be a little bored.
And I kept wondering, is that the shower curtain rod that once had a shower curtain on it, before which he stood snapping that selfie, showing how proud he was just hours after the murder? Thumbs up. Is it in this bathroom at that shower, that bathtub? Because I think it is. When he took the selfie, I think the shower curtain was there. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember. However, you can definitely see, and the police noted, shower curtain missing. I think that means because he showered all that blood off him that might have still been residual, and then knew as a forensic student, get rid of the shower curtain. Probably put some bleach down your drain too and run the water, because they didn't find anything of evidentiary value. I get creeped out looking at that shower bar right there, knowing what happened in front of it.
Right after the homicides, he took the infamous thumbs up picture, indicative of, I just committed my first homicide. Yes, which is a scary thought.
There was also an absentee ballot. Look at this. An official ballot from Whitman County elections for the November 8th, 2022 general election. But he clearly got it, registered as a voter there, and did not use it. But imagine that.
Wow.
Registered to vote there. He was planning to stay.
Yeah.
All those textbooks, very telling. I assume they're textbooks because they're all about crime, like criminal procedure, America's Safest City.
So I see one is called Charged Research Methods, Social Help Sciences, America's Safest City. The Lord shot them. Let the Lord SOHT sock them. Rise of the Warrior Cop. Unsafe in the Ivory Tower. Mass incarceration on trial. A trial by jury. Why the something pled guilty and the something. Criminal procedure. That's a textbook.
Let the Lord sort them, all about the rise and
The
fall of the death
Lord
penalty.
sort them.
And then I love this one. Why the innocent plead
Thank you.
guilty and the guilty go free. Think about that.
There we
Why the
go.
innocent plead guilty and the guilty go free. Sorry, BrYan, not buying it. The evidence overwhelmingly shows you're guilty. Super interesting, though, when you look at all of this material.
Why the innocent plead guilty and the guilty go free? Boy, I bet he recalled some of the passages from that book while he was on trial. Maybe that's why he took the plea bargain.
Also, there was hiking gear in the apartment, a cheap compass, and bear spray. I wondered if the bear spray was going to be used for something else. Don't know.
Okay, this Charmin bag right here, and I don't even know what the fuck that is not indicative of what I perceive to be OCD. But again, there's many different types. That's weird to me. How clean the apartment is in every other aspect. But this Charmin bag sits here all disheveled, and I don't even know what the fuck that is right there. And this compass is on the shelf in there, just seemingly out of place.
You can see the compass in there. Wow. Never got around to using it. It was still packaged. And on his whiteboard, you may have already seen in his office, there was BrYan and Kohberger scribbled on the whiteboard, and they were written.
Take it easy. Don't give up. There's something marked out. Lori said, I went to school for sociology and psychology, not unusual books. Miss North said he had already studied forensic cleanup and how to get away with it under Dr. Ramslin. As a matter of fact, I remember her. Nessa said, my friend sleepwalks and turns lights on and off. It's annoying. Really? Carolina said, BrYan Kohbergers' victims' family members deserve to have all the privacy that they all need. I don't think the pictures of their loved ones should be open to the public. Yeah, I was on the fence about that, and that's kind of another reason why I decided not to go over the crime scene photos necessarily. They are adults, so that's probably why they were released. I understand why the family's upset, but it happens in all cases. But like if I submit a FOIA request and most of the time there is not photos of the victim, or like, the crime scene or after the crime, but sometimes there are, and it's just better not to put the photos with the victims in it out if you can help it. Out of respect. Like I wouldn't even put that on my Patreon, honestly. Surely Megan didn't take the stand. Oh, she did. Crystal, I think you're behind. With electricity prices so high, no doubt.
Phonetically, but then they were also written in Korean characters, which was interesting. Somebody looked like they were demonstrating how to write his name using Korean letters. And then you can also see the words, take it easy, don't give up, and let's go. And there's the trash. Who knows if they used any of that to get DNA from him. Look, none of this solves the ultimate mystery. Why did he do it? Why? Why did you choose those kids? Why did you do this to those kids? Why did you ruin so many lives and take 4? Right?
That's what I would see.
Why them? How could
you?
But it gets us closer to who he is. And the closer we get to who he is, maybe the closer we'll get to knowing how to protect ourselves from people just like him.
I don't know. I don't think anybody saw what he did coming. These nuts, I clicked over to the other live that we're going to have tomorrow, and I saw that you became a member, and I wanted to thank you for that. And I wanted to play the crazy train for you. I don't know if you did it over here as well, but it looked like you became a member over there. So I'm going to grab the crazy train and pick you up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you so much, these nuts, for becoming a member. I really appreciate the support. That was very sweet of you. Thank you again, love. Okay, I've got one more, no, possibly two more that we can go over. Sociopath, said Brenda. All of the crime scene photos were released. I don't know if all of them were. I heard a lot of them were, and it showed pictures of the victims. Okay, I have this one. I think I'll save the serial killer through the years one for tomorrow or another time because it's a 30-minute video. So I saw this and I was kind of like, what on earth? This is from the Daily Mail, and it says scientists are baffled as mysterious, quote, Neptune balls wash up on beaches across the Mediterranean. And it says, at a brief glance, they look like fallen coconuts, even curled up furry animals. They could even be mistaken for carefully arranged deposits of some kind of extraterrestrial civilization. What they are, these curious balls washing up across the Mediterranean shores, are certainly out of place. Some are almost perfectly spherical, while others are shaped like rugby balls. They've been dubbed Neptune balls, but they've got nothing to do with the eighth planet from the sun. They are named after the Roman god of the sea, who can control ferocious winds and storms. Local tourists, even scientists, have been left baffled by Neptune balls, which often are beached following storms. But a Spanish team of researchers think they know what these objects are and why exactly they keep appearing. So here it says, almost perfectly spherical, these curious balls washing up across the Mediterranean could be mistaken for a fallen coconut or a furry curled up animal. Neptune balls are round, compact bundles of a seagrass species called Posidina oceanica, that's found in the Mediterranean Sea. Anchored to the seabed, the plant's leaves fall off and gather together like some kind of underwater tumbleweed, forming loose spears. These spears collect plastic as they form, including bits of food packaging, carrier bags, twine, wet wipes, and much more. Then finally wash up on the shore, where they act as a reminder to beach dwellers of the scale of humanity's plastic obsession. Furry potatoes or massive kiwi fruits, Neptune balls are actually formed from dead Posidina or Posidona leaves and roots compacted by wave action. Posidina oceana, a seagrass species that is endemic to the Mediterranean Sea, is pictured here underwater at La Coltat, southern France. Wow, that's amazing how this grass like this ends up forming a ball like that. That's insane to me. Like, it seems like it would be just grass. I mean, that looks like freshly cut grass in somebody's yard. Well, it not freshly cut, overgrown grass in somebody's yard. It says plastic beach. Mass production of plastic has exploded from around 2 million tons per year in 1950 to around 380 million, according to Our World and data. Pictured here is beach pollution at Kuta, Bali. Almost perfectly spherical, these curious balls washing up across the Mediterranean could be mistaken for a fallen coconut or a curled up furry animal. Interesting. Neptune balls, we've read that. I think we read all of that. And some of these are microplastic, plastic particles less than 5 millimeters in diameter, invisible to the naked eye. So basically, they collect plastic, and then wash up on the shore. Gruesomely, Neptune balls can even contain sanitary towels, tampons, and used wet wipes after they've been flushed down the toilet. These are things with a lot of cellulose, so they sink, Professor Ann from Earth Sciences lecturer at the University of Barcelona told the BBC. In 2021, Professor Sanchez published a study in the Journal of Scientific Reports that addressed the scale of plastic pollution in Posidina oceana, which is a species found only in the Mediterranean Sea. In 2018 and 19, they had counted the number of plastic particles found in balls that have washed up on 4 beaches in Malacra, Spain, which has large seagrass meadows offshore. They found there was plastic debris in half of those seagrass leaf samples, up to 600 bits per kilo of leaves. Only 17 cents per the tighter bundled of seagrass fiber contained plastic, but a much higher density, nearly 1,500 pieces per kilo of sea ball. The shape and arrangement of the seagrass underwater makes it an effective filter and trap for plastics in the coastal areas. Human debris can enter water after being left in the beach, blown by wind, or being flushed down the toilet and escaping from nearby sewage works. It's kind of nasty and interesting at the same time. Sean, sponge looks similar. Sea sponge, yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't flush that stuff down the toilet. Mother Nature's way of saying F you humans. Yeah, throwing it back up on the shores there. All right, y'all. So I'm going to go for today. I want to thank you all so very much for being here. I do apologize for scheduling both streams for today. I didn't know how long the Megan Boswell trial was going to take. And I would like to gather a few more things on the Austin Drummond audios before we go over it, instead of kind of flying by the seat of my pants in the live stream tomorrow. I do look forward to going over that stuff with you guys. Oh my God, Basil just yawned and it's so cute. And I do have, like I said, document on Giovanni Pelliter, the boy from North Carolina that was visiting his family in Florida and disappeared and drowned or died in a retaining pond of some sort. I don't know. I really appreciate you so much for being here and for the support. I really enjoy our time every day. I would be just talking to myself without you guys. So I really appreciate you guys, and you guys make it easier to talk about these cases and go over them. You make me smile, you make me laugh, and I really love our time together each day. Thank you so much. If nobody's told you, you are always going to be enough. You are very important. You are very special, and you are very loved. And I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. Y'all stay safe out there. Bye.
I gotta tell you, there is something you should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future, trying to forget about the past. So many ways that I could change for the better. Don't even know where to begin. If I allow myself to dream, will it be as good as it seems? Pull me out of this place in the middle. To the mountain.